Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just, I've got three screens going, I think. You were smart. You got coffee. That's like
I got coffee.
really good idea.
This is a marathon session, right? So
I know, right? So is there some, let's just get some confirmation that the live stream is working. If the guys behind the scenes, nope, we're not live yet. Okay. Stand by. Well, then I'm not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
I guess we can, stand by on that. All right. So nobody heard me talk about the Christmas trees.
11 seconds away. So I can open it up in another tab and maybe that'll allow me to see how much of a lag there is there.
All right, everybody. I think I'm talking to everybody right now.
Yeah. You're live now. You are live now, Steve. So,
I am live now. This is the most complicated thing that I have ever been involved in. All right. Anyway, welcome everybody. And yes, so just because I was talking about this before, but nobody could hear me. So yeah, these are Christmas decorations behind me. And I'm really, really hopeful that my wife is going to get it all sorted before like Halloween, or whatever. So, but yeah, if you're wondering what the mystery body bags are behind me and the fact that there are Christmas trees in the back, I am aware that Christmas has been over for some time. So sorry about that. But we're excited that you're here. And I don't know, should we, I think we're ready. I think things are moving.
Well, I'm saying, we're just past top of the hour. So we've done our sound checks.
Okay.
I mean, there's got to be something that's broken technically because there are so many like cables and connections going on right now. But we were running a moment ago. So I think we can probably dive in. And maybe one place that we could start is by letting everyone know that there is a big live chat option.
Yeah.
So when you're streaming this on the bottom, I guess the bottom right of your page, there's a live chat, and you can click on that, and we want you to do that and send us messages anytime you've got questions. And that's going to be really important, I think, isn't it, Steve, for some of the fun we've got here today.
It is. I mean, you can probably guess that that's where we're going to be picking winners of cash and things like that. So yeah, definitely really important to use that chat box. But welcome everybody to our Super Sunday. We're very, very excited. We've got people from around the globe. We've got, Aiden in Buenos Aires, and I'm here in South Carolina. And we've got people behind the scenes in several other countries to be named later. So we got a lot going on. And this is kind of not so much the schedule as a high level kind of overview, the big things, the big ticket items that we're going to be kind of crossing off the list here. And it's a lot more than, for those of you who've been kind of listening to some of our presentations and emails and things about Kibo Eclipse, we're certainly going to talk about that today, but we have a lot more that we're going to be talking about and sharing a lot of kind of some lifestyle stuff, some mission critical success traits, bunch of huge announcements, great interview, some product reveals, cash prizes, if I didn't mention that already, some live software demos. So it's going to be fun. It's a little bit more informal. Hopefully we'll get to do a little bit more of like some ask us anything sort of stuff and dive deeper into that kind of thing. And we'll just have fun with it. So we're really glad you're here. And hope you just kind of follow along here. So hopefully, for those of you who don't know, most of you know us, but if you don't know who we are, and by the way, kind of an inside joke against me for picking this particular picture, because this picture of us is very recent. It's only, I don't even, like 3 weeks old, 4 weeks, something like that.
2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty recent. And it was a pretty lovely time. We were pretty excited there because that is me and Aiden, and I am driving a brand new car that I just picked up 2 weeks ago. And for those of you who know, I'm kind of a sports car nut. So this was the first McLaren I had ever gotten, which if you're a sports car person, you'll know what those are. So I was pretty excited about it. And about, I don't know. So again, I had it for 2 weeks, and I drove it down to Miami to meet with Aiden. And in about maybe 2 hours after this picture was taken, Aiden and I were meeting, and I got a call from downstairs, and you can probably guess what happened. But yep, somebody hit me as it was parked up in the VIP section of the valet area of this nice hotel in Miami. Not only hit me once, but hit me twice, and it was a hit and run. And long story short, anyway, they did find the guy, but my car is out of commission for 6 months because the stupid parts have to come from, I don't know, whatever. And, the special paint and all this kind of crap. So anyway, I'm sure you're not interested. I'm sure it's, first world problems for sure. But
you do have another car. Just to be clear, you do have another car. So you've still got wheels. Yeah. You're going to be able to get from A to B.
I am. I'm certain. And again, that makes it an even more first world problem. So I won't share anything about that, but yeah, it's still a bummer no matter how you cut it. So we were pretty happy. And in fact, we were driving it over to see, because Aiden's son is a big car nut. So he wanted to, check out the car.
He's 5 years old, by the way. So as big of a car nut as you can be.
He was a pretty big car nut.
He was a car nut, yeah.
Anyway, all right. I'm sure no one's interested, but I just had to share because that was the picture. So, just a little bit about like our backgrounds, because we have a little bit more time, on something like this. And I was in corporate for almost 20 years, 19 years. And I was in the IT field. And I was a computer programmer, project manager, director of IT. And I became a chief information officer for a smaller publicly traded company, like a $200 million company. And it was a great job. And I had that because it was very entrepreneurial. I had that for, 6 or 7 years. And then we got purchased by a $5 billion Fortune 500 company. And that was a very different experience. And so I was a vice president for that company for about 5 years. And, it was just soul sucking. And, when you have a job like that, you've got, you get a lot of financial freedom because they pay you pretty well. But that's it. You don't have any time freedom for sure. And you don't have any geographic freedom. I mean, you go where they tell you to go, you live where they tell you to live. And your time is really not your own. And so by the time it was time to exit out of there, I was kind of faced with a decision. I had to figure out if I wanted to do the corporate route again. I kind of had reached the pinnacle there, and I would probably have to sort of like start over, or, did I really want to do that? And I was always a frustrated kind of entrepreneur. And sort of realize that about myself, which, I think is important to always be trying to understand what drives you and what makes you happy, But I just decided, I can't, just for my own sake, I've got to have all three freedoms, or I'm not really going to be living the life that I want to live. And so that's when I started to become a bit of a serial entrepreneur, all online, of course. Started out by myself for a year and had some pretty good success, and then ended up, partnering, with Aiden a while after that. And, from there, it's been a wonderful life, So that was kind of my journey. And I live currently, I split my time between Chicago, downtown Chicago, my place here in South Carolina, Hilton Head area, and a place in Florida, Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. And my kids are grown and out of the house and doing their own thing. So,
yeah, I mean, my background is completely different, Steve. I started out my online business in 2005, and I did that because I had shifted to Argentina in 2005. So rolling the clock back a little bit more, I met my wife in 2003 when I was doing a ski season in Squaw Valley, Lake Tahoe in California. Amazing place. And I still had to finish my studies. So I went back to New Zealand, I finished my studies. In 2005, I came over to Argentina, basically with a one-way ticket. And I couldn't speak Spanish at the time. I was on a tourist visa. So what I used to have to do back then was I had to skip the country every 90 days and come back in. So I would cruise across to Uruguay, go across the river there, and come back in every 90 days, and I'd get a new stamp on my passport, and I'd be good to go. But this is why I started an online business, because I didn't have any money. Like I'd just finished university, and I was like up to my eyeballs in debt, actually. And I had this big, heavy laptop, and I used to take it into the coffee shops in Buenos Aires. It's a great cafe culture here. And I started building websites, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I used to build them in software called Dreamweaver. Remember, this was back in 2005. There was no WordPress or anything like that. Yeah. And I started building a business, and little by little got some traction, and it was amazing. And I think from the day I got my first sale, I knew that this was the way of the future, because I needed something that was going to give me that geographic freedom to be in Argentina, where I am today, or in New Zealand, where I was all last year, for example. We've got a holiday home out there. And this was just the answer to all of my solutions. The solution to all of my questions. And it was amazing. So that's why I started online in 2005, and really started getting into e-commerce probably 2008, 2009. I actually did a very early program that Steve put out. That's actually how I met Steve, was because he had a very successful program teaching people how to build e-commerce stores. And I did that, and I did very well from it. And then, we met each other, and then fast forward, we've been business partners for 15 years or so. So it's been pretty amazing journey. So that's a little bit about my background.
Yeah. It's been a long journey, that's for sure. Some days it feels longer than others. So some things that people might not know about us. First of all, I didn't put the slide together, so somehow a shirtless picture of me is now on the internet. So fantastic, but my kids will be incredibly ashamed. But anyway, so a couple interesting things maybe about me, and then Aiden can share about him. I'm a pilot, and I first started flying, I guess I'm trying to think of maybe about 10 years ago. And it was, I've definitely come close to killing Aiden a couple times with him in the airplane. That's, and Tim once on a boat. So I've pretty much, I've put all of
the worst time on the airplane was we were heading out to the Bahamas in Steve's plane, and next minute the plane just goes, yeah. And I was like, and Steve was like, "What happened?" I was like, "If Steve doesn't know what happened, then we're really screwed." Turns out that a friend that we had with us, I guess he had put his foot on something, and the whole plane just.
Yeah, we were okay. He's put his foot all the way on the rudder, and all of a sudden we just went like that. So that was a fun trip. The other fun thing that happened there is we had to the runway we were going to, they had shut down like unexpectedly. They had shut it down, which happens in the Bahamas. And so we ended up having to go somewhere else, which was in my database, my navigation database. So I thought, okay, but I'd never been there. I'd never landed there. So we get to where the navigation database says the runway is, and we're both looking out there and we're like, yeah, it's not here. It's like, so we're out in the middle of the ocean, like kind of roaming around going, I don't know where it is. It says it's supposed to be right there. It's not there. So then Aiden goes, well, what are you going to do? Just ask for directions? Like he was being sarcastic. And I was like, well, actually, so we looked down and there's another plane down lower. And so I just called him up on the radio. I go, hey, dude, are you landed somewhere around here? He goes, oh yeah, it's over here. It's in the wrong. It's not correct in the database. Follow me. So I just followed him down. We found the runway. So anyway, that was fun and excitement in the Bahamas. But yeah, so I've owned a couple of airplanes and done a lot of flying, and that was clearly one of my childhood dreams. Another childhood dream of mine was to be involved with movies and writing, screenwriting in particular. And so I do actually have, believe it or not, I have an IMDb credit out. And I have a movie that's actually available on Amazon Prime. So if you want to watch the movie, there it is. It's called Kindred. And I co-wrote the screenplay with somebody that I met actually through online.
It was actually the guy that put his foot on the rudder.
It was. That's right. That's the guy. Adrian is the director and co-writer of the screenplay, and the guy who almost killed us in the airplane. And then maybe the last thing that you might not know about me is I'm a big boater, and I've had boats pretty much all my life. And prior to about 5 or 6 years ago, for 10 years, I ran my own boat. I was a captain of a 52-foot boat, and for myself and the family and friends. And then one day we were on, Aiden and myself, and I can't remember who was with us, but we were on my boat, that 52-foot boat, and we pulled into a marina, and we pulled up next to a big yacht, charter yacht, like maybe like a 100-footer. And we started talking to the crew, and I started to think about what a business could look like, running a charter business where you have a crew, you have a big boat, and you use it for your own use, but then you also charter it out to defray expenses. And so we were just kind of talking, and then Aiden likes to tell this story because we're talking about it, maybe drinking some beers, and then I kind of go away, and then about an hour later, Steve
disappeared. Like, I guess he went down to his room or something. He disappeared. He comes back up with his laptop. 45 minutes later, he said, "I've got the blueprint, and this is how the yacht business is gonna look." And then he bought this super yacht and started the yacht business.
I did, yeah. It's kind of a well-known joke in my family and friend circle. Be careful, like when Steve starts talking about something, because kind of like the next day, it's actually going to happen. So I had actually like mapped out the whole business and had the spreadsheet on how to make it all work, and had started calling yacht brokers. And so I ran a 90-foot yacht as the owner, not as the captain, for 4.5 years. And that was enough. There's a lot of, if you've ever seen the show Below Deck, it's pretty much like that. And so as an owner, not a ton of fun, but it was a great experience. I'm glad I did it. And Aiden, you and I and other partners that we've had some pretty magical times, on that.
Steve's a really great business partner, because he owns all these fun toys, and you can do all these fun things like fly from from Florida out to the Bahamas in his own plane, or go cruising around the British Virgin Islands in his super yacht. So I don't have any of those kind of toys. First of all, they're a little bit hard to acquire in Argentina. But secondly, I guess I just don't want to own a super yacht at this point in my life. But a few things.
Well, because you're smart. This is the whole thing. Here's what happens. I own all the depreciating assets. He owns all the ones that appreciate. So, and yet then he gets to play with my stuff. So he's freaking brilliant.
Steve's a great business partner.
Yeah.
He's a really, really good business partner.
Sure. He's brilliant. But I will tell one Aiden story that cracked me the hell up. So the yacht has a wonderful staff and a chef, the whole bit, because you need that when you're chartering a yacht. So all of us are pretty, even though we like the finer things in life, we're pretty low key and low maintenance. All of us are. But Aiden included, and he was like, "Oh no, I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to, no big deal. No, I don't need anything. I'm fine." No. So that was the first day. The next morning, I catch Aiden talking to the chef, and he's instructing the chef how to peel your orange. It was like
it has to be done in a certain way, otherwise it's too much wastage.
I'm like,
it's too messy.
That didn't take long at all. It took like 12 hours.
She loved me.
It was funny.
Anyway. Yeah, we've got lots of stories like that, and we could bore you to death with them. Yeah. But we do have to get down to sharing probably what you all want to hear about here today.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Before we do that, though, just a couple of little things that you might not know about me. I've actually got three residencies, I should say. So I've got my Italian passport, thanks to my wife. So she brought that to the table. I've got Argentine residence, also thanks to my wife. She brought that to the table. And obviously my New Zealand passport as well. So with all the chaos in the world and so forth, we always joke and say, well, where do we want to be? Do we want to be in Europe somewhere, or do we want to be, in South America, which I love. I've been down here for 15 years. my kids were both born here, or in New Zealand. So just so happened that prior to the pandemic, we had built a holiday home in New Zealand, which we thought we would spend maybe 8 weeks a year there or something. And then there was a global pandemic, so we raced off back to New Zealand, and we'd been there for all of last year. Just got back to Argentina a few weeks ago. So as Steve mentioned, I do like buying appreciating assets, and the most recent one I bought was a farm in New Zealand. So that's pretty interesting. I've also got a portfolio of properties in Manhattan, New York, in Argentina and New Zealand as well. In my spare time, I love hitting the pool, swimming in the water, anything to do with the water. So I do a lot of swimming. I do some competitive swimming here in Argentina as well, which is always fun. And yeah, I've got 2 little kids, 3-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son, and they make me laugh and drive me crazy every single day. So that's a little bit about my background there.
Aiden's a very, very strong swimmer, obviously. And one of the time we were on the boat, he tends to just go out and swim like in the middle of the ocean, like, nowhere that I would swim, and you have to be a really strong swimmer. So I can remember the captain came down and said, is he okay out there? It was pretty funny. I was like, hey, he'll be fine. Don't worry about it. All right. So maybe we talk about some business stuff. I don't know. Our Ecom Journey, and this slide, I mean, I don't know how you put it on one slide. You really can't. We've been doing this a really long time, and our model has been sort of, it's been very evolutionary. We started with way back when, so yeah, almost 15 years ago, doing that. That's a site where we sold train horns, believe it or not. That was like one of our big success stores, and it was drop shipping. But we would sell these big air horn kits that would go on like trucks and cars and boats, and they were the most obnoxious things on the planet because they're basically designed to call attention to yourself, or you come up to somebody and you scare them with a big they're like for trains, but you put them on these other cars. Anyway, long story short, it was a big success, and it really got us started in the whole e-commerce arena. And then of course, like everybody else, we developed brands on Amazon, and that's something that we do throughout still today. That was a company that we started way back when, prior to 2013, and we have several brands. And we are even in the last few years, we're in brick and mortar stores as well. So we've got our products selling in places like Rite Aid and CVS and shopping, ShopRite kind of grocery store type places. We're in about 15,000 stores across the United States, and we've done several other models on Amazon, and variations on selling our own products, selling other people's products, using all sorts of different traffic sources over the years, conversion methods, different software. And then, in the last few years, we've really been focused on kind of building our own set of tools and, research tools, shopping carts, all that sort of thing, and developing a model that is very much that path of least resistance to making good money online, that you can really grow into an empire. You start with selling all sorts of disparate products, using free traffic and making quick sales. And then, probably over time, you kind of specialize into particular niches, and then maybe even some more time and you're building your own brands and selling outside of the online world into brick and mortar stores and that sort of thing. And we've been doing that and sort of, honing that year after year for the last few years. And it's really gotten us to this point where we are now with Kibo Eclipse, which is, you're going to hear quite a bit about obviously today, but an incredibly mature sort of ecosystem of, training and community tools and resources and things like that we bring to bear on building out an e-commerce empire. So anyway, a lot of words to say that we've been doing this a really, really long time. God knows how many products we've sold and how many customers we've serviced and how much revenue we've brought in. I wouldn't even want to, hazard a guess, but it's lots and lots and lots. So it's been a crazy, crazy ride. That's for sure.
Just about the cash giveaway, Steve. I thought what we could do is we could come back to that maybe in about 10 minutes, because I want to give people who have just joined us the chance to be able to sort of get in and participate with this. And the way that you do that, guys, is just below this broadcast, you'll see a button on the lower right corner that says live chat. So the first thing we need you to do is actually use that live chat. Just go into it. You can click on the button there and it will open up, it should open up a little window, and just say hello. Let us know where you are coming in from. Just let us know where you're coming in from. Say hello. Make sure that's working, because that's the system that we're going to be using to identify the winners here today. Unlike normally when we're running workshops or webinars, normally we've got a whole bunch of controls where we can see the names, we can see everyone who's coming in, and we can randomly select people. But because this is a live broadcast and it's being streamed around the web right now, we don't have the same level of control. So what we need you to do is use that chat box regularly throughout. And again, just a little tip, because that is our only mechanism today for identifying winners, I would suggest that you use it as often as you want to, because we have got lots of cash giveaways throughout the presentation here. So I don't know if there's anything else we need to say regarding that, Steve, just for general sort of housekeeping there.
No, I think we're in good shape.
Okay, so I think what we'll do now is I'll dive into some of the details, and you probably stop sharing your screen there.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Steve. I think because that'll give a bigger video for you.
Yeah. Yep. And Mark, maybe just in the back end, you could let us know that this is all going through. Okay, there's a lot of little technical bits and pieces here today. But and by the way, if you have just tuned in, you've tuned in at a good time, because we're just about to go through and reveal my amazing school project here, which is my artwork on my whiteboard behind me here in my office. So what I want to talk to you about now is obviously Kibo Eclipse. And if you're tuning in here on Super Sunday, then you're probably trying to decide whether or not this is something that you want to be involved with. So my real objective here is to make sure that you get an informed or you get all of the information that you could possibly need today to be able to make an informed decision. When you've got questions, again, use the chat, little chat feature that we've got just below the broadcast. And we will do our absolute best to recap everything. And we're going to start off by peeling back some of the layers on my little whiteboard here. And this is the first one. And this could all turn to custard, because these things have been falling off like every 5 minutes. I guess the tape that I use doesn't stick very well on these whiteboards, but they're all there at the moment. So I'm going to start peeling them off, and we'll see.
It's like a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is the first one. And the really important thing that I want you to know is that this is completely battle tested. And I don't just say that for the sake of saying it. I say it because over the past 2 years, we have been teaching the foundation of the Kibo code, to a lot of different people who have taken massive action, implemented it. And many of those people have been able to really create life-changing results. In fact, we've got someone on who we're going to be talking to in about 30 minutes time here, who has built an amazing business. He does this kind of on the side, and you'll learn more about him a little bit later, but he's built an amazing business from this. And he's an example of one of the people who have come through one of our original Kibo code iterations. Now, Kibo Eclipse is our third iteration of the Kibo code, and it is by far the most sophisticated and advanced of any of them. And the reason for that is, well, there's multiple reasons. I'm going to get to them in just a moment. But Kibo Eclipse builds on the foundation, the core Kibo code e-commerce foundation. And it does that with a lot of new technology and different bits and pieces that I'll get to in just a moment. But getting back to this whole thing about it being battle tested, Our student stores have had hundreds of thousands of customers at this stage. Our student e-commerce stores, that's not even counting our own. Our students have listed and tested over 400,000 products. And again, I'm mentioning this to you because I want you to know how this is not something that we've just whipped together. It's actually something that a lot of people have been using very effectively. It took us over 48,000 man hours to develop the technology, which is just staggering. We've got a whole team of developers. I don't know exactly how many are on staff, but we've got like 20 full-time developers, somewhere in that range, who are just working on the software, the HQ that powers our entire business. And I'll jump across to my computer a little bit later on and actually give you a bit of a deep dive into just what the HQ can do. We've invested $2.41 million of our own money into testing and refining a lot of the different processes. So as I start talking about some more of the things and revealing some more of the different items here, you'll see that a lot of the technology is based around best practices. And these best practices are things that we've learned from well over a decade of running e-commerce stores ourselves. But a lot of it has required, it's like you have to test things out to find out, well, what is the absolute best way to set up a shopping cart? What is the absolute best design for conversions? And you do that by testing. And to test, you have to oftentimes spend money. Now, when you're using Kibo Eclipse and selling products, you do not have to spend money because we're using free traffic. I'm just saying that we've poured a lot of our own hard-earned money into testing all of this out so that you can pick it up and you've got the absolute best out-of-the-box solution for building an e-commerce business, and you can do it in the fastest and easiest way possible. Now, the other thing that I think is pretty impressive is that the Kibo Code has been responsible for over $47 million in sales, which is just phenomenal. And if you said to Steve and I a couple of years ago that our students were going to have such huge success, it would have been hard to believe, just because the numbers are absolutely huge. Now, another really important thing, and I'm going to peel back the gold piece of paper for this one, is that this is the last time that we are ever going to be training people on the Kibo Code model. This is our third iteration. We've been doing it and investing a lot of our time into it over the past couple of years. But we've decided that this will be the last one, because moving forward, we're going to be spending more time. We want to really double down on building our own Kibo business. Now, this is actually really good news for you if you decide to join us. And if at any time you do decide that you want to jump in, you can see a link just below this broadcast that you can click to actually be able to join up. So this is the final iteration. But the good news for you, if you're part of this, is that you're actually going to get lifetime access. So the way it's worked over the past couple of years is the first version of the Kibo Code came out in January 2020, so 2 years ago. And that was pre-pandemic, by the way. So you've seen how the e-commerce landscape and just the world has evolved enormously since then, and our methods have as well. But the people who came in 2020, they had to invest again to be able to get the Kibo Code version that we released 12 months ago, a year ago. So the difference here is that when you invest in this today, you are getting lifetime access. So although we are not going to be doing another training course to the public in 2023 or 2024 about our Kibo e-commerce system, you will get updates by virtue of being a lifetime member. And I'll get down to how we decided to set the price for Kibo Eclipse in a moment. But these two things here, and just the wealth of other technology and breakthroughs that are in this, we originally planned on selling this for $9,997. And a lot of that is to do with just the massive breakthroughs, advancements, changes that we've been through, and also the lifetime access that you're getting there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the model, okay? And I'm going to peel back the blue one for this, and I'll see if I can do it without screwing everything up here. And I do have a lot of tape on this because these things were just falling down every 5 minutes. But I think I managed to get it. And there's one more little one over here, which I'll get off as well. So what we're doing here is we are building, and I forgot the yellow one. So you need to see this one because that's you, potentially, coming on your e-commerce journey, right? So you're starting your journey, and we've really got 3 steps, and I'll be able to get into more details about these once I shift over to my computer in a few moments' time. But the way that we start out is we start out by activating product. So in the past, what we've done is we've had about 10 different steps we've had to go through. But with all the new technology, bells and whistles and refinements that we've made, we've been able to break it down just to 3 simple steps. And it starts with activating products. And I'm going to share how we do that using technology called Oracle in a few moments' time here. But activating products is essentially identifying products that you can sell on your store. And with the business model, the e-commerce model that we use, we don't limit ourselves to one certain niche. So you could have a website, aidensuperstore.com. And in aidensuperstore.com, I could sell all kinds of products. I could sell, iPhone cases, whiteboard markers, linen for the house, absolutely anything and everything that you can imagine. And the beauty of this is, and because we're using free traffic, which I'll get to in just a second, you can put a lot of different products up. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. And you can just see which ones are the ones that are converting the best and making the most sales. And then you can start doubling down on those. But we never start off by saying, I'm really passionate about gardening. I'm going to build a gardening store. We don't do that. We have a general purpose store that allows us to test a whole range of different products and find out which ones work, because we don't want to limit ourselves to just being in one particular niche. It also gives us a lot more flexibility and acts as a little bit of a safety net, because we can easily pivot in different directions at any given point in time. So you're going to activate your products first, and you can do that at the push of a button. We can get our products into our stores in literally 7 seconds from this amazing product finder called Oracle that we'll talk a little bit about. Now, once your products are in your stores, this is when you're going to start getting free traffic. And as soon as you get traffic, or as soon as your products are published, you could be starting to sell your products. And the free traffic will come from a range of different places. But to give you an example, all of the social channels working incredibly well right now for free traffic. In fact, you'll hear from someone a little bit later who's been getting thousands of orders through Pinterest as a social channel. Facebook Marketplace is now on Facebook Shops, Instagram, TikTok, and there are many other sales channels as well that you can use. The point is, though, that using the model that we've developed here and the technology, you're able to leverage these simultaneously. It's not just like in the past where we were focused on 1 or maybe 2 different channels. Now we can be, making sales on a whole range of different marketplaces, because we've got the tools that allow us to do it and the plug-in sort of integrated technology that allows us to do it. So in your first 30 days, we've got something called the 30-day challenge. And this is where we are trying to get you to do 100 sales in your first 30 days. We think it's really important that you get that psychological win early on so that you can see and understand how this works and just see firsthand that you can make sales. And we want to get you to, in that first 30 days, a run rate of $1,000 per week in profit. Now, those first couple of steps there, they could get you from anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 per week. And we've had people come in the past who have made sales literally within just a few hours of getting their products up. Because as soon as you start getting traffic, and because our stores are so well optimized, you put yourself in a position to be able to make sales. But the real magic happens and the real big money comes when you go a little bit further along that journey and are multiplying into different marketplaces. And this is where some of these incredibly exciting opportunities really come into their own. And the big one that we've been talking a lot about is Walmart. Now, Walmart is absolutely huge. I mean, if you look at it just on a revenue standpoint, it's actually twice the size of Amazon. But what people don't know is that Walmart is getting to be huge online as well. It's no longer just a massive offline superstore. It's also a massive online marketplace that is really, putting Amazon through its paces and becoming a real challenger to the throne with Amazon. And even if Walmart never completely catches up to Amazon, which it may well do, it will almost certainly get to a point where it's got 50% of the market share. Well, I mean, I think it's already at like 20% of the market share. It's absolutely huge. And we've used Walmart. I mean, forgetting about all the other strategies and all the core foundation of the Kibo Code, we've used Walmart to generate $35,000 in a single day. And they are strategies that we've built into Kibo Eclipse that we've never been able to share with anyone before, because for the past 12 months, we've been in the trenches testing all of this stuff out. Now, the beauty of this sort of journey and the model that we're using is you can get results really, really quickly. I would say that it's the quickest way that I know of to get results online, and certainly the most reliable. And by the way, it's also the one that most people can kind of understand, because sometimes, other models can be a little bit complicated and stuff, but everyone understands e-commerce. You've got a store, you sell products in other, in different places, and you make money. Now, you can do all of this as well without any of the hurdles or headaches that people have had in the past. So, for example, just to peel back another one of these here, you don't need any inventory at all up front, because you're selling other people's products and you're using a drop shipping model. Now, all of these products, I might add, are already in the United States, that you're not having to worry about dealing with overseas suppliers, you're not dealing with China or anything like that. They're products that are already sitting in warehouses in the United States, and you can sell them on your store. You can find the wholesalers using our special software, which I'll get to in just a second, and you can make sales. I've mentioned about the free traffic, and the beauty of that is you don't have to pay for ads. So one of the great things about this model is you're not going to be out of pocket from at any stage, because there really is no cost once you're on the inside. The only thing that you will need to buy is a domain name, which you can get for $10, and we'll show you how to do that. There's no expensive software. In the past, as we've been building and developing this model, we've used a range of different platforms. We started off using WordPress a few years ago, and that was very clunky, lots of different bits and pieces that you sort of had to try to sort of mesh together, and it didn't quite work that well. Shopify worked a little bit better, but to be able to do what we wanted to do, we still had to cobble together, a whole bunch of different apps that would allow us to sell. And that was quite expensive. I mean, we were paying $1,100 per website that we set up when we were using Shopify. And, one of the huge benefits that you get here by being part of Kibo Eclipse is you don't have any of that cost. That's a big saving on day one, is that you don't have the cost of needing to have this expensive software, because we've got all of that included in what we've put together for you here. Now, more good news. You don't have to worry about dealing with Amazon unless you want to, but we don't really. Amazon might be a marketplace that you want to sell on a little bit later, but we don't recommend you do it from the get-go. It's very competitive. It's a competitive marketplace. There's a lot of fees there as well. And I'm saying this as someone who does a lot of sales on Amazon. We do millions of dollars every single year selling on Amazon. So I really do know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Amazon. And I can tell you that it's not the path of least resistance for most people, okay? The path of least resistance is being able to quickly set up a store, sell in different marketplaces with free traffic, and then expand out to other marketplaces that can be absolute home runs like Walmart. And we'll talk more about this and why this is such a huge opportunity in a few moments' time. So you don't have to worry about Amazon. You don't have to worry about importing products from China or anywhere else for that matter. And it's not just the case of importing them. It's when you do bring in products from overseas, there's all kinds of different admin headaches. Like there's duties. Sometimes your products get stuck in the in the ports, and sometimes your products will arrive faulty, and then you're really screwed. And oh, by the way, if you had to buy a lot of inventory up front, then you might be out of pocket as well. So we don't deal with any of that. And there's no real administrative headaches either. So in the past, people have needed like reseller certificates, EIN numbers, lots of different things like this. That with this model here, and especially because of the way we identify and find our products, you just don't need any of that. Now, the next thing that you don't need is experience, because this is a recipe that we guide you through step by step by step how to build this business. And it's based on everything that all the knowledge that we've built up over the past 13, 14 years of running our own e-commerce stores. There's no geographic barriers either. So by that, I mean, you can be anywhere in the world. Right now, I'm in Argentina. For the past year, I've been in New Zealand. You can run this business from anywhere in the world, and there's no single point of failure. So one of the issues and challenges that some people have had in the past is there's been fewer traffic sources to go from, to leverage. And if, for example, Facebook isn't one that you want to use, or is one that you've had challenges with, that could be a bit of an issue. But what we're doing in 2022 is we've got a multi-pronged approach that allows us to make sales through a whole range of different marketplaces, and of course on our own store, which is incredibly optimized and just an incredible sales machine as well. So with the Kibo Eclipse model, we have eliminated all of the headaches that have sort of plagued people when they've gone about building online businesses in the past, including e-commerce businesses. And we do it all with this here is our sort of our battle cry, if you like, is speed, profit, and scale. So this here is really what our focus is all about: getting sales quickly, being able to have high profit margins, and being able to scale. So we can get, we've got speed. We've absolutely got speed because we can get products up in just a matter of seconds, okay? Profits, we can actually have much higher profits especially because we're starting with free traffic, okay? And scale, we've got massive scaling opportunities later when we start expanding into different marketplaces. And just one of them I mentioned a moment ago was Walmart. It's absolutely huge. So how, though, do you go from starting out your journey here to going through to making thousands of dollars potentially per day, like some of our best students? Well, the way that you do it is through using the different components that we've put together for you. And I'm going to start revealing these and just talking about them a little bit. And I'm so happy that these little pieces of cardboard haven't been falling down, because I really don't know what I would have done if that had happened, but I'll just make sure they're still stuck on there. Anyway, first two components. The first component is training, and this is what we call our incubator. And we really pride ourselves on putting the absolute best training out there. And the way that this works is every week we release the next module, and we do that with live training, a live webinar. We'll get on a live webinar and we'll share, what we're doing. And one of the big things that we're doing differently this year is we're doing a watch and copy style of training. It's radically different to anything we've done in the past, whereby we will actually build out a store and you'll be able to see us doing that live right in front of you. Now, the other thing that we do as part of the training is we roll out bite-sized videos, and this is all organized into different modules. So you've got module 1 where you'll be just starting out, module 2, you might be adding product and building your store, and so on and so forth. But the point is, you're going to get over 100 different videos that guide you through step by step by step by step. And I know it's over 100 because we have mapped out the entire curriculum and we know exactly what you're going to need every step of the way. Now, the other thing that we do, which is a little bit different to what a lot of other people do, is every single video that we put out, we transcribe it, we make summary notes, and we also, when necessary, create visual aids for you as well, like process maps and so on and so forth. So the training is the absolute best in the business, and we leave no stone unturned. I mean, this is the recipe that I was screaming out for when I got started online in 2005. And, like I said earlier, I was working on my laptop from these cafes in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I had no blueprint. It took me 2 years to sort of get up and running. But what we're talking about doing is getting you to 100 sales in your, 100 sales in your first 30 days. 100 sales in your first 30 days. So lightning speed. And a big part of that is the blueprint. Now, building on that blueprint and on that training is what we call our office hours. So this is something that we did for the first time in 2021. And in 2021, with our Kibo Code group, we did 1 office hour session a week. And we saw how effective it was. So we are ramping them up and we're doing 3 sessions per week this year. And this is where we're going to be giving you more touch points, essentially. So it's also a different style of training to what we cover in component number 1. The office hours is more about us being able to analyze what you might be doing. And for example, putting, if you want, your store in a hot seat where we have a look at it, we have a look at the different products you might be selling and we give you tips, or about us just showing you what we're doing at any given moment in our business. So for example, maybe in one of the office hours, we might jump on and just go through and spend 30 minutes finding 30 different products, and we'll show you how we do it. So these kind of in the trenches, sort of operational, over the shoulder, trainings with demonstrations have proven to be really, really effective. People absolutely love them. And again, with this and this combined, you're getting 4 trainings per week. Now, if you feel like, I might not be able to tune in, I thought it's absolutely fine, because everything is recorded and everything is put in the members area that you're going to have lifetime access to. Now, the other thing that we do in the milestones, because we're doing 3 times a week, is it gives us an opportunity to make sure that you're on track and hitting the milestones. we've got a roadmap that sort of guides you through, you know, after week 1, you should be here. After week 2, you should be here. After week 3, you should be here. And that's why we can do this kind of 100-day plan where we can get you $10,000 per week, potentially, because we've got these milestones all mapped out. And this is very much a numbers game. Like, we know that if we publish X number of products on our website, a certain number of them are going to become home run products. And as we work through the milestones, part of what we're doing is guiding you on what you need to do to make sure that you're doing the correct thing at the correct time to get these kinds of results. So the milestones are a big part of it. And again, I think we've just absolutely nailed it with the training, and you're going to be able to see how you can move forward and get the same kind of results as the students that have been through our program in the past. But this time you'll be doing it even faster and in a more streamlined fashion because of the different tools that we've now got at our disposal. So the HQ is absolutely amazing. I mean, there's nothing quite like this on the market. The HQ is your mission control center. It's your centralized login portal where you can control everything in your business. You log in there and you can see how much money you've made, how many sales you've done, who's purchased your products. This is where you integrate with all the different sales platforms as well. So at the push of a button, you can have your products be zapped into Facebook or zapped into Pinterest or into Walmart, into Google, wherever you want to sell them. And it covers absolutely everything. I mean, it's just such an important part of everything that we're doing. It really is the glue that holds everything else together. And it's got all the bells and whistles built into it as well. And I'll talk more about these shortly here. Now, nothing like this exists on the market. There's nothing like this out there. The closest thing that you get to it would be a combination of something like Shopify with, 20 different apps installed, and you'd be paying over $1,000 a month, and it wouldn't work in such a streamlined, seamless fashion. The other thing about the HQ is it allows you to build your website. It allows you to install, quickly develop a logo, get a domain name, all of these different things, all from one place. And you're not limited to just one website either. You can put you can run, multiple websites through the HQ. Now, Oracle, which is also linked in to the HQ, is a huge breakthrough. And this is something that is completely new. I mean, all of these things are new, but Oracle is new in the sense that no one has even thought about something quite like this, not in the way that we've approached it anyway. But the objective for Oracle is to streamline and simplify the process of finding products to sell on your store. This has been a bit of a stumbling block for people in the past, especially, because it's been difficult to know how many products are in stock. It's been difficult to sometimes find suppliers. But with Oracle, you've got an almost unlimited number of suppliers. We tap into different supplier databases there, but one of the main ones is eBay. And eBay is a sophisticated platform now with thousands of wholesalers on it. And these wholesalers have got huge catalogs in many cases, huge catalogs of different products. And you can sell any of these products. Now, not only does it allow you to see who the wholesalers are, but it shows you exactly how much inventory they've got of each product. And it's live data in real time. So you can see, okay, well, there's 13 of this, or there's 51 of that, and not just that, but it also allows you to see how many of those products have been sold in the past 30 days. And there's this cool little graph, a little chart that shows you what the sales volume has been over the past few months and the revenue as well. So you can get all of this information, and you can get all this information at the push of a button. There's different sliders on, and I'll be able to show you this when I'm at my other computer in a few moments' time here. But these sliders allow you to quickly analyze millions of products, literally millions of products, in a matter of seconds to identify the very best products that you want to sell. This tool here is easily worth the price of admission to Kibo Eclipse because it is an absolute game changer, and there's nothing else quite like it on the market. And you might not be able to read this, but that says 7 seconds to live. That's how long it takes to get a product listed. And you can even do it on a smartphone. So I was just chilling out the other day, and I've loved playing around with Oracle because it's brand new technology. It's hot off the press, and I was playing with it on my phone. I've published a few products to my store on my phone, and it's just amazing. It really is next level. So that's enormously valuable. Now, we've got some more components here as well. And all of these are designed to help you succeed faster and get bigger profits with your business. So component number 5 are the converters. And the one that I really want to highlight here is AI technology. And it's AI technology that enables you to have almost like a virtual sales assistant closing sales for you 24/7, 365 days a year. So one example that we've been giving is, we sell this dog mat. It's like a big dog bed. And we sell it through different social selling channels, like Facebook, for example. And we have it out there. We have it published on Facebook. And anytime someone comes and comments on that, depending on what they comment, we can, or the AI technology, the special virtual sort of sales assistant, will reply to that person, give them a link to where they can actually buy it. And if they've got other questions, it can sort of follow up with them as well. So it's all amazing sort of technology. And what it's designed to do is to help you get more conversion, so boost your conversion rates. And in the past, it was quite time consuming and I would say almost a full-time job if you wanted to be selling on multiple different channels. But tools like the AI technology that we've got built into component number 5, the converters, make it so much more streamlined, meaning that the average Joe who works a day job 8 to 10 hours a day can have something like this going as a side gig and be earning thousands of dollars a day in a completely automated fashion. And this is technology that's brand new. No one's ever seen anything quite like it before. Now, on this note of social selling, we've built another piece of software that you're going to get access to called Socializer. And the thing that I love about Socializer is it allows you to quickly identify viral physical products. So maybe there's a product that's selling like hotcakes and it's just going crazy in social media. Socializer will highlight this kind of a product to you, and then you can zip over to Oracle, which has got millions and millions and millions of products, find that product that is a hot seller, zap it into your site and the click of a button, and then you can start selling it as well. So it's a great tool for uncovering these little treasure troves of products, these little pockets of amazing products, and not just amazing products, but amazing traffic opportunities that you can then leverage. And this is something that we've never been able to do in the past because, firstly, we haven't had a way of identifying what those winning products are. And even if we did have that, we didn't have a source for those products. And even if we did have a source for those products or a way to find them, we didn't have a way to zap them into the HQ and then get them out into all the different sales channels, which is really what makes this whole thing magic, is all of these tools are designed to play nicely with one another. Now, the next couple of components, and these ones are really important as well. Number 7 is done for you items. So what we've got here, we've tried to do a lot of the heavy lifting. I mentioned earlier that we spent $2.41 million in testing different ads. And a lot of that money was spent to test out engagement funnels and test out different conversion funnels. So the real upside for you here is you can come in and use our proven, tried and tested funnels and literally use them in a copy paste way. So they've all been done for you. You can just like copy and paste. And again, this is designed to help you really hit the ground running, to scale much, much faster, and to sidestep things that may have otherwise been headaches or things that you just didn't know how to do. So we've got done for you components in there. And then the support. And the support is absolutely amazing. Like I'm so proud and grateful to work with the support team that we've got. We've got people all over the world. And we've got every single time zone covered. So we've got people on the east coast of Australia, the west coast of Australia. We've got people in New Zealand. We've got people all over the United States. We've got people in Canada, in the UK. And all of our support team are people that have been with us for the past couple of years. So they know the Kibo Code model. They know the foundational model of the Kibo Code, and they can help you get started just like they've helped other people get started in the past. And we really do take our support seriously. Like we really do try to sort of bend over backwards to make sure that whatever you need, you're going to get it as part of the support package here. So it's not unusual for us to, for example, film an over-the-shoulder demonstration video just for you, showing you how to do something on your store. it's not unusual for us to log into your store and set something up that needs to be set up slightly differently to how you've got it, because we just bend over backwards. I mean, we only do one intake of customers per year, because we really only do one training like this, one sort of public, training that's available to the public to invest in per year. And that gives us a real advantage when it comes to the support side of it, because we've got this specialized support system. These people are not jack of all trades support people. These are people that are specialists in this particular model. They all speak English as a first language, by the way, and they're just great people to work with. And like I say, I think Steve and I are really, really lucky to have these amazing people on our team, and you get enormous benefit of that. So something else that's really important is this is 100% proven at this point. We've had hundreds and hundreds of success stories, people who have come through and crushed it using the Kibo Code model. And those people didn't have any of these bells and whistles, because what we're doing in 2022, it's radically different. We've rethought absolutely everything. We literally sat down and we said, okay, well, what would we need to do, or what do we need to include in Kibo Eclipse to make sure it is the best, the fastest, the easiest e-commerce system that we have ever come up with. And this is why, by the way, people who were involved in our first two iterations of the Kibo Code are jumping into this one because they know the value there. They're just jumping right into it. They also know that it is lifetime access for the first time ever, and it is the final, it is the absolute final Kibo Code training that we are ever going to do. Now, this here is a high-level overview. There's actually a lot more that we're going to be doing as well. So, for example, we've got our live 2-day virtual event, and this is where we try to replicate you being at a live event with presentations like this, by the way, for 2 full days, where we just give you a lot more information, and we can go off into different tangents and really talk about things on the fringes of our business that will help you grow your business and take it to the next level. So that's a lot of fun. And to put that in perspective, these are things that have got a lot of real value. In the past, we've done 2-day live events in person in places like Las Vegas, Orlando, and London, Sydney, lots of places all around the world. And we've charged $2,000 to be able to attend that for 2 days. So what you're getting, and this is exclusive to Kibo Eclipse members, there's no other way that you can tune into these presentations, is 2 full days of just live training. There's no pitching or anything like that. It's just 100% training to help you and ensure that you've got a competitive edge over everyone else out there that's doing this. Now, I've mentioned a few times that this is the final time that we're doing this. And I really want you to know that you've got no risk. You've got absolutely no risk for multiple reasons. Firstly, you don't have any of these headaches that I mentioned earlier, but perhaps the main reason you've got no risk is because we've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can change your mind in the first 30 days. Doesn't matter if it's 29 minutes from now or 29 days from now, you can change your mind and we will give you 100% of your money back. There are no catches here. You don't have to jump through any hoops or anything like that. You can just send us an email, hey, Aidan, Steve, change my mind, and we will give you your money back. And look, we want you to be able to have complete peace of mind. I think the sad news is that there are a lot of training programs out there these days that don't offer a refund period. They just say, jump in, give us your money, and whatever happens, happens. But we don't do that. We're giving you complete peace of mind and being able to jump in completely risk-free. In fact, there are other programs out there that sell for $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and they've got no kind of safety net. But you've got not just a 30-day money-back guarantee, which is completely ironclad. I mean, we've been doing this for well over a decade now. We've got very good reputations in the industry, and we stand by our promises. And by the way, we sell through ClickBank. So if you really want to, you don't even have to deal with us to get your money back. It's easy and it's streamlined. Now, the other reason that you've got no risk, and this is really where we go above and beyond, and we can do this because we know our method works, but what we do is we offer you a double your money back guarantee. So as long as you follow absolutely everything, you go through the steps, you reach out to us when you need help. If you're not making sales inside your first 60 days, we will not just give you your money back, but we will double it. So we're trying to put you in a position which is a complete no-brainer here. We're trying to put you in a position where you can look at this logically and say, okay, well, you know, you can get into this. If it doesn't work, you get your money back. If you put the effort in, follow the steps, you've got double your money back guarantee as well. So what's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that could happen? There really is no downside here, and you know, that's by design. We are so confident that you can succeed, but you do have to jump in. And actually, right below this video right now, you should be able to see a link that you can go to be able to invest in this. So if you go to that link, you can actually get started right now. And if you do get started right now, and if you let us know that you are getting started right now, and the way that you will do this is by typing in, after you've finished your investment, type in the live chat box and let me know. And I can see those things that come in on the background here, and let me know that you have jumped in. And I'm going to throw in some extra special bonuses for you as well. So we've got 3 different bonuses that I'm going to throw in. The first one is our 2022 social media marketing plan. And we've got a social media marketing manager in our business, and she is amazing. She creates our social media marketing plans, not just for our e-commerce business, but for all of our businesses, including, you know, our software businesses and different other businesses that we've got. And you're going to get the blueprint, okay? As long as you jump in right now, and as long as you let me know that you have invested in this during Super Sunday. And if you've already invested in this in the past, that's fine. It's okay. We'll make sure you get that as well. The second thing that you're going to get is a very special training that I'm going to be giving you on crypto and e-commerce and the interesting overlap that exists right now. Now, if you're not interested in crypto, you can just ignore this one. Or maybe you want to be a fly on the wall and just find out what we're talking about. But there's a very interesting overlap between crypto right now. Remember, it's one way that people are starting to be able to buy things online, and e-commerce stores happen to be selling a lot of things online. So it's an interesting space that we are diving into and exploring, I would say. And if you get in right now, then we'll let you be a fly on the wall and get all the intel and insights that we get out of that. And the third bonus that I'll give you if you jump in right now is a special copywriting bootcamp, which is where I'll guide you through simple things you can do to get better results, from better conversions from any kind of business, you know, messaging that you put out there. It could be on a web page, it could be a radio ad, it could be a video, absolutely anything. And these are simple things that anyone can implement in a matter of minutes. So it's kind of like a fast start guide to copywriting. So you can get all of that and everything else that's here just by investing today. But I do want you to know that the clock is ticking here. We've been open to the public for a few days now, and we're getting very close to hitting capacity. I mean, the people that have been jumping in, it's just been mind-blowing for us. I think people are jumping in faster than they have ever before. So what that ultimately means is that we're going to be shutting down sooner than we may have anticipated. Okay, so again, you don't want to be left out on the outside here. You want to make sure that you are on the inside. So I think that for now is a good overview of sort of where we're at. And Steve, it might be a good time now for us to go ahead and give away some cash.
Okay, fantastic. You want to do $250?
Yeah, let's do that. 2 times $250. So guys, and if you have just joined us, or if you weren't here at the start, the way that you can win some cash, and we've got lots more to give away throughout the next couple of hours, is to comment and use the chat box that you can see just below, not really a chat box, chat sort of system, chat box or something, that you can see just below on the right hand of this broadcast. So people who have been participating in that have been getting their names in the draw to win this cash. So do we have a couple of
well, actually, what Mark is going to find them, you know, within the people that have been participating in chat. And what's going to happen is Mark is going to message those folks so that he can get their email address and that kind of thing. So okay. That's happening as we speak. Let's see. Mark is telling me, okay, we only get first names. So then Mark will follow up and say, hey, what's your name? What's your email address? But Bob is the first one. And
if your name is Bob, then good chance that you're one of the winners.
But
here.
You'll know if it's you because Mark is going to message you back and say, hey, you won, give us your email address so we can PayPal you. And I'm just waiting for Mark to put in a second name here. Well, he's typing. I can see he's typing. Jason.
There we go.
Jason is the second name. So congrats, Bob and Jason. And if you don't know if you're the Bob and Jason, because there probably are more than one Bob and Jason, again, Mark is going to be following up with you through the chat. So it'll be all good. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. Do you want me to share my screen? Yeah. We can kind of look into some of the differences, why this is a different opportunity, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And while you do that, I'll get over to my other desk here and I'll see everyone again shortly.
All right. Amazingly enough, Aiden actually did that whiteboard all himself, which if my life depended on it, I couldn't do that because it would just look like, well, it would look horrific, but his looks pretty good. So, okay, let me just move some things around my desktop here. We're going to take a closer look at a whole bunch of things. And we're going to start with talking a little bit about why this is such a different opportunity and kind of a different model. So it's pretty revolutionary, I think. And we've got, there's a lot of reasons, but let's focus on 6 big reasons why this is a pretty revolutionary model. Okay. So the first is just the simplicity. This whole system is built on a core model, a foundational model that we've been teaching for the last couple of years. And, it's kind of like, it's that model plus just a whole bunch of things that we've added on over the years, and then some pretty dramatic changes in the whole e-commerce world. I think it's not an overstatement to say that it's the most dramatic things that have changed in the last 20 years, as far as I can tell. But it all starts, right, with the core Kibo code model, which is, just a really rock solid, consistent e-commerce system for selling physical products online. And, it's something that's predictable, it's reliable, and, it grows dramatically every year. We make thousands of dollars every day with this system. And I think the other thing that speaks to its simplicity is that there are, with 10 years of teaching people how to build businesses and thousands of students, we sort of know where the skeletons are. We kind of know where the places that people get into trouble, roadblocks that they're going to encounter, just things that get in their way. And we've gotten rid of pretty much all of those. But here's some of those usual suspects right here. You don't need to develop a product of your own. You don't need a lot of capital to go out and you don't need any capital to go out and buy inventory. You don't need to figure out where to store that inventory. People used to put it in their garage, in their living room, and fulfill orders from their right in front of the TV, trying to package things up and everything, which is fine, but it's kind of a pain in the ass, and it definitely gets in people's way. So nothing, you don't have to deal with you don't have to ever touch the inventory. You don't have to deal with overseas suppliers. You don't have to be a copywriter, a web designer, a computer programmer to figure out, interfaces. You don't have to be located in the United States. You don't need any kind of special permissions or licenses or reseller certificates. So, all of these represent areas, and probably the biggest ones are cash, and in this model, you just need absolutely zero capital, zero cash to jumpstart. You're not paying for traffic. You're not paying for the inventory. The only time you ever pay for any piece of inventory is when someone else has already bought it from you, right? So when you get rid of all the potential roadblocks, then, it definitely I think by default is a lot simpler. Another big area is that, we don't focus on niches. Most business opportunity classes and opportunities and models, they start with, all right, let's first research a market or a niche, and we'll pick the gardening niche, and then we're gonna brand everything gardening. We're gonna the website, the logo, and we're only gonna look at those products, and on and on and on. Listen, and there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. In fact, I sort of alluded to this before, but the typical kind of life cycle of a Kibo code empire is you start with you don't care about the niche, And then you start making money and you start selling products in any kind of niche. And then you probably will transition into, I kind of like the gardening niche and I've had success there and I'm more interested in these products now that I'm selling them. And so, you kind of focus more on that. And then maybe you move into your own branded products and everything. But where it starts, the path of least resistance, the easiest way is not to worry about any of that up front. And so you're not worried about any kind of niches or markets, and you're just worried about products. So it sort of frees you up, and you can focus just on any kind of product. It doesn't matter, if it's, a brand new pop culture type product, or if it's some, mundane commodity type thing like a stapler or office products. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters, right, is that you are making money with those products. And then the other thing is that, we talked a little bit about this where you're not paying for traffic, and we use these secret free is the important word that's not in here, traffic sources to test lots of products quickly. And you get rid of the ones that, don't convert or aren't as profitable. You keep the ones that are making you the most money, and you kind of rinse and repeat. And this is really key because it gets rid of every single bit of risk. If you're not paying for the products themselves, which you're not, you never purchase the inventory up front. You never buy a product until you've actually sold it. Okay. That's the dropship model. If you're not paying for the products and you're not paying for traffic, then you can test an unlimited number of products with zero consequences, with zero risk, because what's the worst thing that can happen? If it doesn't sell, if it's not profitable, well, you haven't actually spend any money. So you're good, right? So at the end of the day, getting rid of all this risk, getting rid of all the roadblocks, using free, very, very effective traffic sources, you end up with a store that's full of products that all convert to sales and profits. And, you're never spending any money. You're never taking any risk. You're never even having to do a lot of product research, because you can just kind of throw stuff at the wall because there's no effort and there's no consequences, and you're not dealing with Amazon or overseas suppliers, and you're not ever touching the product. So simplicity, speed, no risk, those are huge differentiators with this model. The second is that it's a very clear cut, blueprint, kind of a paint by numbers sort of thing. And, it can be broken down into some pretty straightforward and simple steps. You're going to, in step one, you're going to identify a core selection of products. And, we'll give you a little bit of a demonstration on how this works with our technology, which is pretty impressive. Aiden started talking a little bit about it. But I think until you see it, you don't quite understand how it applies here and how it makes these steps kind of as simple as you see them on the slide. Normally you see a step on here and it's filled with pitfalls and places that you're going to run into problems and complexity. But that's not the case here when you have the right tools. So you're going to
Steve, just sorry, just by the way, I can actually demo that technology anytime you want. I don't know if you want me to us to sort of go off script and me to do that now, or if we do it a little bit later.
Well, maybe the best thing to do is to get through the steps and then sort of do the demo then, because it will sort of map to the steps, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yep.
So in step one, what you're going to see is the ability to quickly, build out your store, because you need that, right? With kind of push of the button, you're going to see the ability to quickly find, suppliers and products and quickly get them sucked into the store so that they can, start to make money. And so, this is kind of what I was telling about. You're going to easily be able to do this with the special software that Aiden is going to demonstrate in just a minute. And it quickly creates the exact same storefront that we use, to generate thousands. And so you can very, very quickly get from zero to, I've got my website set up, I've got the store there, I've got products in there, I'm ready to sell fast. And then you go to step two. And what you're going to do is you're going to use those traffic sources that we talked about that are free, risk-free, fast, high commercial intent. And we like to start with Facebook Marketplace. And we could do a whole webinar just on the Facebook Marketplace because it is, that much of a game changer. And the biggest reason is that it's kind of misunderstood and it's not really used by a lot of people in the way that we're using it. A lot of people think of it as, it's like for garage sale stuff and things like that. And it is, I mean, people use it for that, but there are plenty of companies like us and all of our students who are using it for traditional direct to consumer retail sales of new products. And that's where it really shines. And it really shines because it's got a huge amount of traffic, which, is hundreds of millions of monthly users, high commercial intent, and it's free. And there are no barriers to entry. And we are finding similar success over the last year with Pinterest and TikTok, which are very similar. The same kind of holy grail of traffic where you got a lot of it, it's high commercial intent, and it's free. Well, I mean, it's and there are no barriers and no hurdles for you to jump through. So you can quickly generate free traffic and quickly generate sales. I mean, here's an example of showing you that, the Facebook Marketplace is not just for the stuff that was left over in grandma's attic. Here's a brand new laser engraving machine that we can sell all day long on Facebook Marketplace alone, generating, over $21,000 in sales. So, you're going to be listing your products on the Facebook Marketplace, which again, you can, and Aiden will show you this, you can quickly do right from within the Kibo HQ. And you are going to be getting US-based buyers quickly and easily. You could do the same thing with TikTok and Pinterest, or you could use those instead. And we want to get you to that first milestone of about $1,000 a week in profit. And then from there, what you're trying to do is multiply your marketplaces. You're identifying those profitable products that you had put onto TikTok, Pinterest, and or Facebook Marketplace, and you can move them to Microsoft Shopping, Google Shopping, Walmart, Target, Newegg, all those kinds of other marketplaces. Most of them are free, where you can basically multiply your sales. I mean, the minute you go from just being on one marketplace to being on more than one, you're going to have more eyes on your product. You're going to make more sales. You're going to generate more traffic, more sales, more profit. Before we get into these exact ones, maybe this is a good time to do that demonstration then, Aiden.
Yeah. We can do it. Let me just get my screen organized here, and I will share my screen with you. So, Steve, can you just confirm that you can see my screen there?
I can see it.
Great. Okay, so what you guys are seeing here is the inside of our HQ, and this is where you can see a lot of the key metrics, and it's also the secret weapon that streamlines absolutely everything that Steve has been mentioning and that I was mentioning previously when I was up there at the whiteboard. Now, first thing you can do here is just quickly, you can see, what's your progress been like? How are you tracking? And I think this is just a good visual indicator. Here we can see past 30 days, 54,000 in this store. Last 7 days, 15,000, and 3,100 a day, 2,192. And yeah, I mean, you get the idea. This is a very powerful system. But the real thing that I want to highlight for you here is just how it streamlines everything. So if you have never set up an e-commerce store before, it can be a little bit daunting. And we've really tried to sort of tackle that head on and make it just as streamlined and seamless as humanly possible. And the first way that we do that is by this big blue button up the top, add new store. And when you go in there, literally at the click of a couple of buttons, you can have a store set up, installed and running. And it will look like a store. I mean, out of the box, it's going to look something like this because it's got all of that optimization already built into it. Now, so setting up a store is simple, and you can add multiple stores, and even right down to, for example, adding a logo, setting up navigation. It's all built in here in the store management portal, and you can have multiple stores in here that you can manage from all from the same place. So that's sort of at the core of what the HQ is all about. But then if we come down here, you'll see this link to Oracle, and Oracle is the place where you'll go to find products. So if we just take a look in Oracle here, this is what it looks like. And what we can see on the right-hand side are a bunch of different sliders. And these sliders allow me to very quickly filter products in a range of different ways. I can filter based on price. I can filter based on average product rating, number of reviews. I can only show top-rated sellers if I want to. Or I can just have fun and browse around page to page to page. And one thing that I like to do is, because half the time I don't even know what the hell these things are, but I find one that's done like some decent sales in the past 30 days. Like this one's done $1,984 in the last 30 days. And I've got no idea what this thing is, but I can click on it and I can get more information. So I can see the product cost, I can see the shipping cost, I can see how many sales it's done in the past 30 days. I can have a look at more images there if I want to. Normally you'd have a graph here that shows you the sales velocity over the past 4 months. I can see the supplier. I can see, and this one, for example, is one that's from eBay. eBay is the main, actually the main supplier in here. Or I should say wholesalers that are on eBay are the main supplier. And the beauty of that is you don't need to, lose time by hunting down and finding different, suppliers to work with. You can just come here and use this straight out of the box. So really, and then if I wanted, I could add that to my import list. And when I add that to my import list, I could then come down here to my import list and I'll see different products on my import list. I can see the elevator door key. Again, still don't know quite what that thing is, but I know that it's done some decent sales. I could hover over here, click publish to store. And when I do that, a few seconds later, it's going to be published. Sometimes I need to add in extra information. Like here, for example, there's a product description that I could add. For that, I can come down here, copy that, and I can paste it in there. I could do other bits and pieces. So I could say, okay, well, I want to sell this thing for $51, and that would give me a 41% margin and a profit of $21 per sale. I could add more photos. I could do lots of different things, and then I can just hit publish. And when I hit publish, it's going to be published to my store, and we're good to go. And it literally just takes a few seconds. Now, when a product is published to your store, there's lots of different things that you can do. For example, I can come in and I can have a look at my products here, and I can publish them. Well, this is actually, let me show you something else first. I can come to, like if I want to blast out my products into Facebook Marketplace, for example, I can come into this sales channel down here. I can select the item. I can click publish, and it will publish it in an instant on the Facebook Marketplace, which is one of the channels that we use. And I can do the same thing for other channels as well. You can see down here, we've got Facebook Shop, Pinterest, Microsoft, Google, Walmart. And another thing which I was going to show you a moment ago is this posts. Now, you may remember I was talking about some AI technology that we've developed, which is like a virtual sales assistant. Now, this here is kind of where we control that from, or where I should say, where we can see the results of that AI technology working. And so this here is, we can see different products that we've published in different social media channels. And we can see how many comments have been put on those products. And when a comment has been put on one of those products, we can actually see and have a crack at actually converting that person who's making that comment into a buyer. And when that happens, we'll see the orders come through here. Don't worry so much about how it works, just know that it does work, and it massively streamlines our approach to making automated sales. Could be sales coming in the middle of the night, just on complete autopilot. Now, the other thing I want to mention here is that this HQ has all the bells and whistles that you could possibly need or want in a e-commerce store. So, for example, you've got discounts. You can create discount codes. You can create gift cards. There's a whole range of different marketing tactics that you can do. This here is an upsell funnel where I've literally just selected one of the products I've got in my store. It's an add to cart funnel. And I can set some of the parameters down here. I click another button and it's done. We've got this single page checkout, which is really good as well. So now I've come over to a store here. And if I click add to cart, you're going to see that I can go to the checkout, and it's single page checkout, and then we are done. Now, at the moment, I am in Argentina. So in different places. It will show, it's now showing in Argentine pesos. You see that? Now, if I was to open up the same page and I was in the UK, it would be showing it in British pounds. Or if I was in France, it would be showing it in euros. And this is something that may seem like a trivial detail, but actually it's not, because this allows you, like, it literally sort of opens up the doors to being able to sell in more places, literally more places around the world. You're no longer limited to just selling in, you know, the US marketplace. Even if we do think that's, you know, the path of least resistance and a place that you should start, this is still something that enables you to sell in lots of different marketplaces. And that's one of the ways to sort of multiply your income, is by selling in different marketplaces. And this is one of the things that we're focused on more in 2022 than ever in the past. And there are a lot more things here as well. You got the viral, you got Socializer, and I mean, you can just do a whole bunch of things. And really, this is the centralized one-stop shop for building an e-commerce business, because, like I said earlier, it's kind of like the glue that ties everything together, and it's incredibly newbie friendly. You don't have to mess around trying to, you know, configure different bits and pieces and then make your website look good. It's all of our best practices are built in here right out of the gate, and you can find these amazing products. So, you know, using Oracle, and again, I think we've just overcome every like headache or stumbling block that we've identified over the past couple of years, and working with, you know, our first two groups of Kibo Code members. Now, that's one of the things that I think makes Kibo Eclipse just so superior to anything we've done in the past, is that we really have ironed out all the kinks and you know, got this to a place where it's streamlined, and you can get products listed literally in a matter of seconds, and it's all seamless. So, Steve, bit of an overview there. I don't know if there's anything that you want to add. Otherwise, we can get back to
no. I think that's great. You know, it really maps nicely to the, you know, to the steps that we were going through. I think it kind of, you know, completes the circle there. So I think that's great.
Cool.
Can you see my slides again?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Okay, cool. So these are, it's always good, I think, to see some exact products. And these are, I love these because these are very different from, you know, probably the normal types of like small kind of products that that you normally see. These are products that we're selling on Walmart. And these are real world examples. Here's a big, very big swing set. Now, remember, you don't ever have to have the product in your garage or anything like that. You don't have to ever see it or anything, but selling that, and to the tune of $50,000 in sales on the swing set. And here's an above ground swimming pool. So almost $16,000 selling on Walmart. So you just get a feel for what these actual you know, products are. And, you know, after you go through the steps, then you're going to look to scale. And there's lots of different ways to scale. And most of the time when you're scaling, it's usually a combination of several options. You know, you have sort of these tools in your back pocket, and you kind of pick a couple different ones and combine them. But obviously, one of the easiest things to do is to just simply have more products. If you have 2 products, successful products that you're making money on, and you want to make more money in scale, then have 4 products, have 6 products, have 10 products. So you can kind of repeat the steps of going through and finding products and testing them and keeping the most profitable ones and getting rid of the ones that are less profitable. And so you're, you know, keeping the winners, getting rid of the losers, and that dramatically increases profits. The other thing you could do is keep expanding your marketplaces. You know, we're going to certainly make the case, you know, Kibo is really all about, we're e-commerce and we want to be everywhere, mostly but Amazon. You know, that's kind of like, in general, that's the core model, right? So there's a lot of everywhere to go. You know, if you're looking at TikTok, Facebook Marketplace, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook Shops, Google Shopping, Microsoft Shopping. I'm leaving some out. And all the other, some of the other big ones, you know, Walmart, Target, Newegg, BH Photo, you know, there's so many of these different marketplaces, and there are new ones coming on all the time. And you'll see why that is the model, and that's where all the people are headed. when we talk a little bit about what's going on with Walmart later on. But now we want to get, once we start doing the scaling, we want to get through to milestone 2 and then milestone 3, reaching somewhere around $10,000 a week in profit, which is very attainable. So let's talk about Walmart, because there's a couple of things going on in 2022 now, really started towards the tail end of last year, that I think are the most significant developments in e-commerce that I've seen in the last 20 years. And the beauty of it is that they are both right in the Kibo Code's wheelhouse. I mean, Kibo Code was designed to take advantage of these two things that we didn't know were going to happen in 2022. So just like company Zoom is a great example. They were a good company. They were successful, profitable, life was good. Then the pandemic hit, and lo and behold, they were in the best position ever to take advantage of the things that happened. And that's kind of where we see ourselves with two big things, and they both have to do with Walmart. Just some background, Walmart is the biggest retailer on the planet. And that is a pretty big statement. They are more than twice the size of Amazon, $543 billion a year in revenue, 2 million people employed. And, they have been, Aiden was talking a little bit about this. They've been, building out their online marketplace. It's been growing like crazy. And you might, a lot of people, I think, were thinking that, for the last 10 years, Walmart's been sitting around going, well, this whole online e-commerce thing, we don't need that. We'll let Amazon own that and we'll be the brick and mortar. We're still the big guy. That nothing could be further from the truth. They definitely stumbled out of the gate, like everyone, and they let Amazon get ahead of them in the online space for sure. But what they've been doing for the last 10 years is they've been being very patient. They've been saying, look, we're the big guy. We're going to be really patient. We're going to build out our online marketplace. And then we're going to look for, we don't know when this is going to happen, but we're going to look for our opportunity to jump and our opportunity to take on Amazon. And what's happened is now is the time that they've decided to do that. And I'll tell you why that is on the next slide. But because they've decided to do it, that's one of the big staggering changes that has happened recently that plays right into the Kibo Code model. So what that means is they now have started to take a page out of the playbook of Amazon, because why not, right? And they're letting people like us and potentially you, take advantage of their huge marketplace. They're letting us sell on their marketplace on Walmart.com, their online marketplace, just like Amazon started doing 15 some odd years ago. Okay. So it's a chance to get in on the ground floor, because there's not a lot of people doing this yet. Okay. In on the ground floor, just like we did on Amazon 15 years ago, carve out your piece of the pie, own it, and take advantage of this marketplace that I think is going to rather quickly start to equal Amazon, which is staggering. And this is the first thing that I think is the biggest change in e-commerce in the last 20 years. The second thing, which is related, is that there have been some huge behavior changes and some huge buying patterns that have changed. Now, we saw that when COVID first happened, right? We saw, e-com was kind of going like this. That's great. That's great. Life is good. We're all happy. COVID hits, e-com goes, whoop, like that, right? Because everyone and their brother, started to buy online. And that happened right in, God knows what year are we in? That happened in 2020, And that's great for all e-commerce models, including Kibo Code and including Amazon. But what happened last year is something that was particular to Amazon and was bad for them and good for us and good for Walmart. What happened is that Amazon broke. So people were trained and used to, for the most part, well, I'm just going to go right to Amazon. It's easy. They got my credit card. I'm a Prime member. And I know that whatever I type into the search bar on Amazon, it's going to be there. I can get it delivered to me today, maybe if I live in Chicago or Manhattan, but probably worst case tomorrow, easy peasy. And it's going to be price I can live with. Probably won't be the cheapest, but I don't care, you know? And that's great. But what happened is, because of the supply chain issues that happened last year, Amazon wasn't able to provide that. You would type something in and it wouldn't be there, or you couldn't get it delivered for weeks, because not only Amazon had supply chain issues, but FedEx and UPS, they've essentially just given up. I mean, they're still talking about, well, FedEx went from when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight to, yeah, we're going to do our best. I mean, that's kind of what everybody's doing right now, and it's ridiculous. I'm not going to go on a rant about FedEx and UPS because I think they're using COVID as an excuse. But anyway, there was some real stuff, and now it's just silliness. But bottom line is that broke Amazon, and people said, well, damn it, I can't find it. I can't get it fast, or I'd have to pay this incredible fee because of supply and demand issues. Well, there must be other places I could buy online. Lo and behold, there are all the places that we use for the Kibo code. And so now people were like, yeah, we're going to go to Walmart. We're going to go to Target. We're going to go to Facebook Marketplace. We're going to go to Instagram, Pinterest, whatever. It doesn't matter. Right. And they started to realize, oh yeah, there's life outside of Amazon. And that's why Walmart decided that now is the time to push the accelerator pedal and make their move. And they're right. This was the time. Now is the time. That's what they're doing. So that's great for them. It's great for us because it plays right into the Kibo model. And then this is independently great for Walmart, but also great for us, because where do we live? We live on all of those marketplaces that are outside of Amazon. And so it's absolutely the second thing that is the biggest e-commerce game changer that I've seen in 20 years. And Walmart is just, I mean, the opportunity there is staggering. Just to give you an idea, it's early days. We just started selling on there last year, $160,000 in the best week, $220,000 best month. It essentially just pours rocket fuel on the Kibo code system, which people already have such success with. Reason number 4, and I think, we will probably be able to gloss over this a bit because they're mostly the things that Aiden demonstrated, but, you do need, not only do you need to basically work the system and some determination, but you need that source of products, because you don't need a ton of them to be successful, but you need products to test. You need products for when your products maybe go out of stock, or maybe start to, the pricing changes or something like that. You need automation. I mean, automation is huge because otherwise you're tied down to something. That's why I tell people not to go into a consulting business because the minute you do that, then you're the product and you have to trade hours for dollars, and you can only work so many hours, right? But if you have automation, you can make money while you sleep, or while you're on the beach, or while you're out with the kids, or playing golf, whatever it is that you're doing, right? Which is what we do. I could literally make money when I sleep. And you need to make sure that you can make conversions. So Aiden really went through all these, but they really take care of, those key things that you need, and they provide the shortcuts that are necessary to make sure that you get rid of risk, you can move fast, and you don't hit any of those roadblocks. So he went over all the Kibo HQ, where you can, build out your store and launch all your products after you find them with Kibo Oracle. He went through and showed a couple of the converters, and there's plenty of more of those. We just don't have the time to go into them. And then obviously we spent a lot of time on Oracle to find those suppliers and products that you can test and you can use. So reason number 5 is, I think, a proven track record of results. We always ask people to, when they can, take a couple minutes out of their day and give us their success stories. And we have so many that we could choose from. And so, there's a direct track record of people who are having success with the system. Here's Vaughn, who did $1,800 in his best day, $39.50 his best week, $13,000 his best month. Here's Damien, best day was $944, best week $3,853, best month almost $11,000. Here's Riley, generated over $1,400 on his best day, $4,670 on best week and 10,410 on best month. And they just go on and on. Padraig here with over $6,000 in only 7 days. Here's Peter, over $3,000 in just 1 day. Dominic, over $11,000 in a month, $1,200 in 24 hours with Mike. You got 1,276 in 24 hours from Robert, over $2,000 in a single day from Tim. I mean, you know, we have a private forum for our coaching, our teaching programs here, and you know, we have kind of like these badges and achievement, badges and points, milestones. And you know, there's so many people. You know, people have to request them and say, hey, I've reached this, and here's the evidence of it, and so on. And then we reward them with their badges. But just so many people over and over again are succeeding, and people from all over the world. You know, I think it's. Oh, and here's somebody who says beats digging ditches, which is the thing that everybody's pretty tired in our companies of hearing me say all the time. When anybody complains about, oh, geez, I got to go look for another product. Well, for Christ, I got to stop cursing stuff, but you could be out there digging ditches, for God's sakes, for a living. You know, this is not exactly hard work. But it's 30% of our folks are from outside the US, which I think is, you know, I mean, obviously it's pretty significant. And so just goes to show you. And, you know, and there's a lot of people who this is their first real success online. Because of the simplicity, because of the beginner friendliness, because of the zero risk, because of the speed, you know, there's just lots and lots of reasons of people who have tried a lot of different things in the past. And, you know, this is the thing, you know, that really made the difference for them. And, you know, with everything that's going on, you know, and by the way, so to put this in perspective, you know, all of these people are people who have done this without the benefit of some of these critically important things that we're bringing to bear with Kibo Eclipse in 2022. And so, you know, there's never been a better time, because you've got this core foundation of a very reliable system, and then you just pour this rocket fuel right on top in the form of these new software, these new tools, the big changes that are happening in the world of e-commerce, you know. But it's not magic, and it's important that everybody understands that. I mean, you have to do the work, you have to take action, you have to follow the steps. It is not magic, but it has a huge advantage over magic, as I keep saying, and that is that you know, it's real, and magic is not. So yeah, I mean, this is what I was talking about with potential, you know, that, you know, all of the results that you saw and all of the success stories and all that sort of stuff is great. But it's nothing compared to what's possible now. So, you know, I mean, I think a lot of people are probably saying, you know, can you really do this yourself? And, you know, you've got to say yes. I mean, there's just no reason to say no. You know, I mean, there's many of the folks that have had massive success have had absolutely zero experience, you know, and it's providing kind of that bread and butter, reliable income that supports families and dreams and to hundreds of early adopters. And it's generated, you know, the proof is out there. You know, the numbers are out there. The people are out there. The street cred is out there. It's generated, you know, $47 million in online revenue. And, you know, probably we estimate somewhere over $20 million in profit. And there's just no reason why you should be asking yourself, can you really do this? And come up with the answer, no. There just is no reason. So your most important thing to do, you know, today and then beyond after that is to take action. I mean, first of all, you've got to, you know, there's a button as you're watching this that you can push, that you can take action right now. And that is your job today, honestly. Your job tomorrow is following the course and doing what we tell you to do and following the steps and working the plan. But your job today is to push that button and to take some action. And there's absolutely no reason why you can't be one of these success stories, you know?
Yeah, it's really true there, Steve. And we're actually going to hear from one of our success stories probably in about 10 minutes time here. I'll take the slides away from you there because I want to recap on a few things, but you are going to hear from one of our success stories, one of our students who has come into this and done really well for himself over the past year or so, and we'll get to doing that in about 10 minutes time. Also, just Steve mentioned a moment ago that just below this video where we are broadcasting it, you'll see a live chat option. We encourage you to use that if you've got questions. Like, if you're on this workshop right now, then I assume that you're here because you want to be trying to make an informed decision and find out, is this something that you want to do in 2022? Is this right for you? And it's, it's the high chance you actually got some questions around that. We're going to do our best to answer all of them, but use that question box, little chat pop up there, and we'll make sure that we help you out. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, and I'm going to recap the different components. I did it a moment ago, a little bit earlier on the whiteboard there. I'm going to do it now on the slides so that you can actually read as I'm presenting this to you. But one of the first questions that we've got from people regularly, and especially from people who have been involved in our past couple of versions of the Kibo code, are how is Kibo Eclipse different to what we've done in Kibo in the first two iterations of the Kibo code? And you're going to see how different it is when I get to really going down into granular detail of the different components. But I think one thing that you need to be aware of from the get-go is that so much has changed in the world of e-commerce, and Kibo Eclipse really reflects that. I mean, when we launched the first iteration of the Kibo code, that was pre-pandemic. So everything has changed. In even just 12 months ago, with our second iteration of the Kibo code, so much has changed in the online space. 12 months ago, we didn't even know really, we hadn't been in the trenches doing $35,000 a day on Walmart, but we are doing that now. In fact, just 12 months ago, we were focused sort of quite narrowly on just a couple of different marketplaces, whereas now we've got this whole smorgasbord of marketplaces, not just smorgasbord of marketplaces, but experience in the trenches actually selling on them. So I think we've eliminated a lot of these sort of headaches that people have had. We've eliminated some of the single points of failure, some of the struggles that some people have had as well with our approach to Kibo Eclipse. And of course, you are getting lifetime access to this here today as well. So when I look back to where we were with the first two iterations, I sort of feel like we were crawling along with these weights tied around our legs. And now with Eclipse, everything is just so streamlined. The technology is so much more advanced that we really can sprint forward and get results so much faster. So if you're someone who was involved with the first couple of iterations of the Kibo code, I would say you absolutely need to get this, to keep your finger on the pulse and to get access to all the new technology and so forth. And like I say, we really have made some massive breakthroughs. Everything is faster and simpler than ever before. And our battle cry is speed, profit, and scale. And we've got the 30-day challenge. We are incredibly confident in being able to get you to a point where you're making sales, and not just a couple of sales. I mean, we want to get you to the point where you're making 100 sales in your first 30 days. And the way that you'll get there is by using the different software and tools and following the recipe that we've put together. And by doing that, you will see the magic happen. I don't know if you're going to get sales on day 1 or day 5 or day 15, but you will start getting sales come in as long as you follow the steps. And that's going to give you a massive psychological boost. I mean, we've seen that this is one of the real keys to people getting that breakthrough, is to get not just 1 or 2 sales, but consistent sales coming every day. And when you do that, I think something changes inside of you where oh, wow, I can really do this. And when you're making $20 a day, you can see how you can make $200 a day, and so on and so forth. So that's our big first mission, is to get you to making your first 100 sales, and hopefully we'll get you there in the first 30 days. And we'll secure that first big win, and it's going to give you the confidence to really persevere and thrive with this business model. And it'll also help you get to that first $1,000 per week profit milestone as well. So I'm going to run through the 8 components now of Kibo Eclipse, and I did go through them previously on the whiteboard, but I'll go through them now just to recap everything. And then, like I say, we will invite someone on, one of our members, to share his thoughts and his story a little bit as well. So stay tuned for that, and we'll give some more cash away as well. Now, the way that we're doing our training in 2022 is radically different to the way we've done it in the past. And that's mainly because it's built around a watch and copy system, whereby we're actually going to be building this stuff live in front of you, and you're going to be able to see what we're doing and then replicate it. So we start off with the incubator. That's the first component. And this is where you're getting our complete recipe, all our best practices, everything that the recipe that we have refined over the past 13 years of running different e-commerce businesses. And this is at the cutting edge of e-commerce. I mean, so much has changed in the method, even over the past 6 months. E-commerce is changing at staggering pace right now. And we've built all of our changes into our brand new blueprint. And this is what I was screaming out for when I got started online. I wish I had something like this. And again, we've left no stone unturned, making sure that you're getting everything that you could possibly need from a training perspective. And that includes 100 plus videos, mind maps, PDFs with transcriptions and summaries of all the videos. And it's all in a members area that you can access anytime you want to. So it's all there for you. And then we've got these office hours where you'll get on a call with the likes of Steve or me or some of our coaches like Sean, for example, and be able to watch what we're doing and analyze different things that we'll do, like product analysis as an example. We'll do identifying products. We'll do optimizing a listing. We'll do building out a sales funnel right in front of you. And we do these 3 times a week. So you're going to have plenty of opportunities to engage with us. Make sure you're hitting those milestones, get lots of demos, and just incredibly valuable. And we've seen people do really well as a result of tuning into these in the past. You're getting you're also getting free access to Kibo HQ, which is this incredible software that I've been sharing with you. And it's a real game changer, because this is the thing that's going to allow you to put your foot on the accelerator and do incredibly well with your Kibo business potentially, because it ties all the sort of loose pieces together. And it's one thing that we've tried to do here is give you all the different pieces of the puzzle versus just saying, here's one thing, here's this other thing. No, we're giving you all of the pieces of the puzzle in sort of a cohesive way so that you're not going to get overwhelmed, and you are going to have control at your fingertips to be selling in lots of different places. So again, this has been something that we've been building up to for a couple of years now, and it's incredible. You're absolutely going to love it. General public will be paying $499 a month, and you're getting free access. You're going to be able to find profitable products faster with Oracle. I gave you a bit of a demo of this a few moments ago, but you can analyze thousands of products in seconds. The real challenge with finding products is, one, that it takes time. So if you were doing it manually, it could take you 10 minutes to analyze a product. And then after that 10 minutes, you might find out, well, that was no good. Whereas what we're doing here, we can use a few sliders, run a few filters, and identify thousands and thousands of products in a matter of seconds, which you can then also zap into your store in seconds. So it's very, very streamlined from the point of starting to look for a product to actually selling a product. It's streamlined from start to finish. And that's what makes Oracle so powerful and just such a game changer. Completely new. No one has ever seen this before. It's a new, excuse me, it's a new approach to identifying products to sell online and then actually selling them. Then we've got the converters. This is an image that sort of represents what we're doing here. And I shared this example before about how we are selling a dog bed, and we've got it, selling in different social channels. And anytime someone were to comment on that, and if they comment in a certain way using certain words, then we're going to reply to them in an automated fashion. And for example, if someone were to type in, "Oh, that looks really interesting, where can I get it?" Our AI technology will be able to identify what that person is asking and give them the relevant information. And this is all pre-programmed. And it's a great conversion mechanism just to get more free sales, really. It's more like icing on the cake, if you want to think about it in that way. And then we've got Socializer. I mentioned this as well. A completely new software that will allow you to pinpoint and identify these viral physical product opportunities. And you can start selling them on your own store. But it's also a way that you can identify viral traffic opportunities that you can get yourself in front of. So interesting there, not just as a product identification tool, but also a traffic identification tool. And then we've got a lot of done-for-you components as well that will help you accelerate your business. So done-for-you scripts, done-for-you fill in the blanks templates, done-for-you high-converting landing pages, things that we've poured millions of dollars into testing and really fleshing out. And of course, the support. I mean, it's just so vital that you've got hand-holding support every step of the way. Although we've got a completely, battle-tested blueprint, there are always curveballs that are going to come at you. Like, for example, maybe you're selling in New Zealand and Instagram looks a little bit different in New Zealand to the way that we're seeing it where we are. That's not going to be a roadblock, but it may be like a little speed bump and you're like, oh, what's this all about? But that's where this hand-holding support comes in. That's where this customization comes in. And that's where it's incredibly valuable to have experts, not just, you're not just relying on Steve and me, you're relying on a whole team of experts all over the world. So we've got people in Australia who can know, how things work best in Australia, in New Zealand, in the UK, Canada, all over the world. So we really do sort of have your back and we've got you well and truly covered. And I can tell you what, from over 13 years of selling physical products online, there is probably not an obstacle that you're going to come up against that we haven't already seen or solved, either for ourselves or for someone else. So this is just invaluable. I mean, you just can't put a price tag on something like this. You're getting access to the live events as well. Kibo achievements, as Steve mentioned, and all of the obstacles have been eliminated. You don't have to worry about traffic. You don't have to worry about paying for ads, high profit margins, and we're talking about getting you sales very, very quickly. You don't need any special experience. It's the perfect opportunity for anyone, really. I mean, if you want to hit the reset button, if you're a complete newbie, if you're someone who's doing this, for the first time ever, fantastic. Or maybe you've got an online business already and you want add another income stream. Great. Add this into the mix. It's a great way to potentially make good cash flow. So we really believe in this, and we've seen firsthand how it's been able to change people's lives. I mean, when it really comes down to it, if you're looking for financial freedom, this is something that can make you more money, and it can make you more money from the comfort of your own home without having to go out there and do different things. You can make money just from your computer or even just from your smartphone in the comfort of your own home. But if you want to work from a beach resort, then fantastic, go ahead and do it. You could do that if you wanted to. If some people get into this or have got into the Kibo Code in the past couple of years because they've been looking at it as a way to make money in retirement. And, I've spoken to these people and they've told me that, if they can make an extra couple $100 a day in profit, that would be a game changer in their retirement. So I'm just sharing more ideas about ways that this has helped people and could help people. But I think ultimately it's the kind of thing that can allow you to live life on your terms, whatever that may be, because it's giving you that financial freedom, the geographic freedom, and also the time freedom. Now, word of warning, our first training is going to be on Friday, and we are very close to actually shutting down the doors. I mentioned earlier that the amount of excitement around this has surpassed anything we've seen in the past. And we've been running a few workshops over the past few days, and people are diving into this left, right, and center. And we are getting very close to actually shutting down the doors now. So what will happen eventually at some stage is you're going to try to go to a link and it's not going to work anymore. And that would mean that it'll go to the sold out page, essentially. That's really what's at risk here by not being on the inside. We're giving you absolutely everything that you could possibly need. And I mentioned earlier why we made a case and were originally planning on selling this for $9,997. That's not something I'm just making up. We were actually going to sell it for $9,997. We said, look, okay, we understand if we sell at that price point, we're going to have fewer members, but that's fine. It actually works with this idea of us wanting to build a sort of an inner circle that we share our secrets with. But then we didn't want to leave so many people out on the sidelines because they couldn't afford to come in. So ultimately, we ended up making this available for the prices that you can see here now. One payment of $3,497 or 4 payments of $997. And we feel like this is an absolute steal because you are getting lifetime access and lifetime updates to anything new that we do related to the Kibo code. So you can get in right now. You can see the link on the screen, and you can also see it. There's a button below this video that you should be able to click and go ahead and sign up. And I did mention earlier that if you do go ahead and sign up, I'm going to throw in 3 special bonuses as well. And we do have some other bonuses, which I'll get to a little bit later. But the 3 that I'm throwing in right now are the social media marketing plan for 2022. And this is something that will work across different niches, across different industries. The crypto and ecom overlap. This is some really, really interesting stuff that we're doing right now. And may turn into a course one day, but you're going to get free access to it. And then a fast track for copywriting. Okay. Now, also know that you've got 0 risk here. You've got ironclad 30-day money-back guarantee. You can change your mind at any time in the first 30 days, and you don't even need a reason. We'll give you your money back. So again, you've got no financial risk in getting in, and you've got our double your money-back guarantee as well, just for good measure. As long as you follow every step of the training curriculum without deviation and actively use our support system and our tools and our resources, we guarantee to not only refund your money, but to double your money back if for some reason you're unable to make sales in your first 60 days. And we're doing this because we want to change your life. We want to put you in a position where this is a complete no-brainer. And Steve mentioned it earlier, the only thing that you really need to decide to do now, and the only piece of action you can take now, is actually securing your spot. And you can do that by going to the link that you can see on the screen, or by clicking the button that you could see somewhere down below this broadcast. And go ahead and do that right now. The spaces are going to fill up, and when they do, that's it. We'll be shutting down. We'll be working with the members who are on the inside. So we are going to do an interview, and we are going to give away some cash. So I think what we could do here is we could start off by doing a bit of an interview with Steve, who has Steve Mormon, who has taken some time out of his day here to be here with everyone. So thank you very much for doing that, Steve. And we should be able to get it, I think, so that we can put it in gallery view. Let me see if I can do that. Hang on.
That seems like an advanced topic.
Yeah, might be a little bit too advanced, but anyway.
Yeah, it's too advanced for me.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
So it's all good no matter what. Yeah.
Yes. Steve, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to be here with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure entirely there. I wanted to come on and sort of tell my story of what I've been up to for the past year. So appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. And just before we get into the details, let folks know who are listening to this, like, where do you live? Where are you from? What's your background? I mean, I know that you've got you have a day job that you do as well. So just fill in a few of the blanks for people there.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a Canadian CPA, professional accountant, and I actually design software for a living. So sort of mid-50s, getting to the point where I'm kind of kicking around the idea of retirement. Basically what I was looking for with the original Kibo programs was a business that I could do, like you say, with a laptop lifestyle, do it from the beach, retired wherever I happen to be, and found the Kibo program and doing quite well with it based on last year.
Yeah. Now, prior to coming into the Kibo code, did you know anything, or did you have much knowledge around selling physical products online?
Not a single thing, actually. The very first dollar I made online has been through the Kibo program.
That's awesome. And do you remember what the product was that you sold?
Yeah, actually, it was a air purifier. I started the original Kibo program 2 years ago in January of 2020, and right when the pandemic was hitting, basically I happened to have that product up, and all of a sudden everyone was looking for those sorts of products. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's one of the things that I love about this is, you really can, if you want to, you can really jump on the bandwagon with different items that are hot right now. And we've spoken a little bit about that with social selling, but I remember at one stage, and I think we were using this as an example inside some of the training, but we had this giant, like, inflatable Donald Trump. I think it was like a pool toy or something, and whichever side of the coin you're on, it was a toy that people might want to buy, and that was one that was doing a lot of sales. So you can sell all kinds of weird and wonderful products out there. Now, what's been your best day so far that you can sort of remember in terms of the revenue that you've been able to do from this model?
Best day is just over 3K. Best month is 10. And this has been primarily with 100% free Pinterest traffic. And basically my background is I'm a very analytical, logical guy. I mean, being in software and an accountant. And if somebody would have told me 2 years ago that I would be kind of in a creative world of Pinterest making money, I would have looked at them like they were crazy.
Yeah, so you're now like this social media expert who's using Pinterest to sell all kinds of different products. Are you doing all the heavy lifting yourself, or do you have people that help you out? How do you do it?
I'm actually doing this 100% myself. I just looked on my profile this morning, and I have 2,873 products on Pinterest.
Wow.
And basically, say from starting last year. And so if we average that out, that's about 240 products a month that I'm adding, or say roughly 8 per day. And I'm analyzing, finding all the products, creating all the product listings, and pushing it out to Pinterest all myself manually. So I've got a 9-to-5 day job, and then so I'm kind of doing this in the evenings. I've got a bit of a sort of automated process that I'm using, but I'm doing all of this myself. So very much looking forward to all the tools with Oracle and Socializer and whatnot, because say if I'm currently creating 8 products a day, I've kind of had early access to the training for 2022. Basically, we can go up to 150 products a day. So if I can 20x what I'm doing currently, 20 times the revenue. So
yeah. And I think the beauty of this is, in the past, sometimes people have had to pay to get traffic, but with so much of what we're doing, we're building, that is an option, but so much of what we're doing, we're building around this free traffic there. Now, I mean, a little bit about your Kibo journey. For someone who is unsure whether or not they're going to be able to do this, like maybe they're thinking, well, that's fine for Steve. He's got a background in IT, or he's software development. It's probably easy for him. What would you say to someone like that who is a little bit unsure about whether or not they're going to be able to do it?
Absolutely, you can do it. I'm in a accountability group with a few different partners, and not everyone has an IT background. And part of the Kibo model is that the support is world-class, so that you've got multiple avenues to get support if you need something. First of all is the forum, the members forum. So there's always generally somebody that's slightly ahead of where you're at, and everybody is quite giving in there, so that if you're running into a problem with a specific area, say you can't get a product loaded, or your images don't look right, or something like that. A lot of times for sort of less technical things like that, somebody will hop in, give you advice, myself being one of them. Then if it's something that's a little bit more significant, then basically you can create a support ticket, and then usually you get a response within 24 hours. A lot of times it's set these flags, here's a screenshot of where you would make the changes, or if it ends up being a little bit more than that, a lot of times the support will, and they've done this with me in the past, they'll actually hop onto the store and do a screen share with you and help walk you through whatever the issue is. So they'll either screen share with you, or even once you give them authorization, go in and make the setting changes in the back. So you're never left high and dry from a technical aspect.
Yeah. And have you, I mean, have you been someone who has just out of the gate, hit home runs, or have you had to sort of overcome your own sets of obstacles along the way? And I'm asking this question because, for people who may have been doing e-commerce training or trying to build an e-commerce, business in the past, and they haven't quite, found that magic yet. Have you been someone that had to, try again, kind of a thing to get there, or was it a home run from day one for you?
Oh heavens, no.
Yeah.
No. It's something that it took me a little while to kind of get some steam going, and I would say that using the Pinterest free traffic model, I would say probably 97% of the products that I currently push out there, they don't do anything. And so basically there's a small handful of winners, and this is just doing everything manually, just like getting an idea in my head, trying to do some product research and saying, well, this thing looks like a reasonable thing that I should push out to my store as a product. And then sometimes 1 out of 20 times it actually is a success, but more often than not it fails. And so this is where I'm really looking forward to the new tools that even if I can get to 10% successful products, that's going to 3x my success just from that one thing alone, let alone all of the number of products that I can push out into my store. So all of the different features that are built in, say, as well as the conversion tools, none of that exists in what we've got with our current solution, say for the upsells and the abandoned cart, funnel sequences and things like that. And so all of these things combined, I can easily see turning my my new store that I'm just in the process of creating for 2022 into a 6, maybe even 7-figure store for this year, based on what I'm seeing in the program that's available to us that we can leverage.
And what would you say to people who might have stumbled with online businesses in the past, and maybe it wasn't e-commerce, maybe they tried something else like affiliate marketing, and they just never had that breakthrough? Because you're someone who has said that you didn't get a home run out of the gate, so you must have had some mental fortitude or some characteristic that allowed you to sort of keep on trying. Like, what would you say to people who haven't had that magic yet, and just at a different stage, like this, haven't had the magic?
The thing I, would suggest is to just keep at it. I mean, obviously, if you keep hitting your head against the wall after a while, it gets kind of sore. But based on the way that this particular model is structured, is that there's no downside. So you're not spending any money on ads, and all that you're investing is your time, and actually with the tools available, there's a lot less of it. So my mindset right from the very beginning of the program is that no matter what it takes, I'm going to make this a success, whether it's 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, whatever. And no matter what is going to happen, I'm not going to quit. I mean, there's been times where I've taken a week or 2 off, and it's sort of set me back. But my current process is that I go in and I look at my store every single day, no matter what. Sometimes it's 5 or 10 minutes just to check some analytical reports, but oftentimes I'll spend 2, 3, 4 hours on it if it happens to be a weekend. But basically, the thing is that I find with most of these programs, everyone is really, really excited when they first get into them. And then if they don't see immediate success, then their enthusiasm and motivation tends to go down. And that's kind of like the make or break point. And basically, you just have to keep sticking through it, and you will get there. And based on what I'm seeing with the new program, is that people are going to get there way faster and a lot less effort.
And what you're talking about there, it's actually something that happens to almost everyone in any kind of new business. There's a thing called the dip. Seth Godin talks about it, where you've got all this excitement, and maybe you're even starting to make some progress, and then for one reason or another, you go into a bit of a dip. And some people fall into the dip and they don't get back up and they don't push on. But the people that push on then get like the second wind, and it's then that the magic really starts happening. So I think the lesson there is, you really need to persevere. And when the going gets tough, you need to go back to the basics and stick to the recipe. Because I think one of the other things we've seen, and you may have even noticed this firsthand, is sometimes it's easy to deviate from the recipe, but almost always that's a bad decision unless you're at a different point when you can, have a bit more of a creative license and go out and try different things because you're starting to see more success. So there is that. Any sort of final words there that you'd give to someone, Steve, who is just thinking, should they do this? Should they jump in? Anything that you'd like to leave them with here today?
Oh, absolutely. My thoughts are go ahead, jump in, because as you've mentioned previously, you've got the 30-day money back guarantee and the 60-day double your money. And basically there's no downside to it because I looked at what my requirements are going to be for this year, and I bought a $14 Canadian domain, and that's literally all I'm going to have to spend for all my traffic for the year, and the rest is just time and effort. And then basically you start it, you commit to yourself that you're going to do it, and you go in and you do the work, and don't take a day off.
Yep, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Well, again, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to be there with us, Steve, and to share a little bit about your story with everyone. And I'm sure people are going to get to know you as well on the inside. And I personally really look forward to seeing how your journey sort of evolves. I know you've got big ambitions to build either a 6 or a 7-figure new store to add to what you've already got. Really looking forward to seeing the results. So thank you once again, Steve, for taking some time out here to be with everyone.
Oh, it's been my absolute pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I think we could do some cash giveaways now there, Steve. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 2 folks, Daryl, my other brother, Daryl and Tara. And Mark will be reaching out to both Daryl and Tara and getting their PayPal address so that we can send them some money. Good stuff. Okay.
Hey, just one thing before we get into the business grid, and this is pretty cool. And maybe if I just stop sharing my screen, will that make my video bigger? I guess it will. Let's see.
Yeah.
It will. So you remember this little thing, Steve?
Yeah.
This here is a Daruma doll, which comes from, which is Japanese, I believe, and comes from like the 5th century or something. And when the Kibo Journey started, Steve and I went to Tokyo. And the reason we were in Tokyo is we were going to have a look at this amazing store called Don Quixote, which sells every kind of product you can possibly imagine under the sun. And that was really what we sort of based the whole foundation of the Kibo Code on. But the cool thing about this doll, if you like, is that however they fall over, they always keep coming back up. You push it over that way and it comes back up. Push it over that way and it comes back up. Push it over that way, it comes back up. And I think there's, I always keep this on the shelf in my office, and I've got it sort of up on the wall where I can see it, and I've got this thing like staring back at me. And I have that sort of mindset and that approach to businesses as well. I know that sometimes I'm going to hit roadblocks, but I'm always going to bounce back up. And the way these things are meant to work is you think of a wish that you want, that something that you want to come true in your life, and it could be business or like absolutely anything. And when you've got that, you color in one of the eyes, and then you can put it on your shelf or wherever you're going to put it. And when your dream comes true, you color in the other eye. So I've got a pretty big wish that I've got around, my own family and my kids and things like that. So I got to wait a few years to see if it comes true, but until then, it's going to be sitting up on my shelf, staring back at me with just one colored in eye. And it's a good reminder of, you fall down and you always bounce back up. So
I've got to find mine because apparently I have an unused wish.
Yeah, you should.
I don't want to let that go to waste.
No, you get another McLaren or something.
Oh God, please.
Sorry.
I hope to just see this
not
one
allowed
again.
To talk about, not allowed to talk about that one anymore.
Oh my God, please.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want to take the slides there, Stephen? We could talk a little bit about business grid and our sort of results first approach.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Okay, sorry, lost my voice there for 1 second. So, there's a lot of different business models that you could do online. When you're thinking about starting a business, and you need to find some way to figure out which one you're gonna try to attack. And there's a lot of things to think about. Is this beginner friendly? If you're a beginner, which most people are, how much money do you really need? What's the success rate? How easy is it to get traffic? Because, traffic is usually kind of the hardest piece of the puzzle when you're looking at any kind of online business opportunity. What's the effort that's involved in actually doing like hardcore marketing? Do you have to be a copywriter? Do you have to be a graphic designer? That sort of thing. Technical stuff. Is there a lot of technical issues that need to be resolved that you need to get involved in? Do you have to create a lot of content? Does it require like a lot of like very strategic thinking rather than tactical stuff? What's the short-term opportunity? What's the long-term? Is it easy to outsource? That's really, really important if you want to, sort of operate from the beach. If you sort of look at all the different business models out there, and you kind of take into account all of those questions, you can sort of put something up and say, all right, these are the kind of the important things to really look at and to sort of score. Is it scale? Because it speaks to a lot of these questions in some way or another, right? Is it scalable? How much ongoing effort does it take? What are the startup costs? How difficult is it? And that sort of encompasses all those different things that we were talking about with marketing and strategic costs or strategic effort and technical skills and so on. How quick can you see results? What can you do in like the first year of profit? And then what's kind of like year 2 and 3? What's the potential there? So obviously with scalability, you want high, with maintenance, you want low, with startup costs, you want 0. With difficulty, you want low. With the time to see results, you want as fast as possible. You want the biggest number you can get for year 1 profit and the biggest number you can get for, the ongoing kind of year 2 and 3 potential. And, that's why, honestly, the Kibo code stacks up so well against all of these. And it's really the only one that really kind of ticks off every single one of these boxes. Now, I won't go into each of these models and all the different points on the grid, but, just to take one, if you look at the Amazon white label, and that's really should be renamed because it's not just, it's much bigger than that now. Our brand started as Amazon white label, which just simply means we built our own brand, we manufacture our own products, and we sold primarily on Amazon. But at the end of the day, it's really about building your own brand, manufacturing your own products, controlling your own supply chain, that sort of a thing. So it's much bigger than just Amazon white label. But something like that, has just so much more startup costs, so much more ongoing maintenance. Just think about, the effort involved in, and by the way, we love this business. We've, been doing it for 10 years. We have huge amounts of time and effort invested, but it took a long time to start seeing the benefits of that, to start seeing, going into a CVS or a Walgreens or whatever and seeing our product there. That took it took 10 years, to get it into brick and mortar. It's just a really big, long process. So, you could kind of sort of feel where there's so much more risk, there's, so much more complexity, there's so much more difficulty, there's so much more time to see results, and on and on and on. At some point, we actually, the income potential, should be enormous. It is conceivable that, maybe in the next 10 years, we could sell our brand for, 50, $100 million. So, I mean, you can reach that point, but there's a lot of steps and risk and time and effort and capital and investment and on and on and on and on to reach that point, right? So nothing stacks up. I think that's the big takeaway from this slide. Nothing ever will stack up as well as the Kibo code does when you're looking at all of these different metrics. And that's really, really important because you really want to make, you know, the best decision, right? You know, I think for this year, you know, Aiden talked about this just a little bit about, you know, kind of the changes that we're making. This, you know, we've been doing this a long time, as we keep saying. And I would say that this year is the biggest change that we've made to our training approach ever. And it's mostly just due to having kind of a fresh set of eyes. I mean, a lot of it actually has to do with Sean and, you know, him bringing a little bit of a new approach to things. And it's always good to get new blood. You know, I mean, we, you know, again, it's good that you're doing it, that we've been doing it a long time. And sometimes it's not so good, you know, because you get stuck in your ways and stuff. So when you get a new pair of eyes to look at things and somebody new to suggest things, it's time to listen and then listen to what, you know, your students are telling you. And so the touch points that we have this year are dramatically increased. I mean, you're talking about a 400% increase in touch points. You know, we used to reach out and have get-togethers once a week, and now we're going to be doing it 4 times a week. And it's going to be, because we're going to be doing one day of, you know, sort of formal training that follows our curriculum. And then we're doing 3 days of office hours that Aiden sort of talked about a little bit more, but it's a way for us to be way more proactively engaged with students. It's a way to get way more of the students to be able to participate live and go back and forth, because you tend to get smaller groups that, you know, because of time zone changes and different days, different groups of people can attend. So you hear different things and they have different issues and concerns. It allows us to be, you know, a little bit more aware of progress and accountability and all that sort of stuff, and allows us to be more flexible and to be more, you know, able to adjust on the fly and leave no man and no woman behind, because, you know, we can just respond a little bit better. And then I think the other thing is going back to a much more over the shoulder approach in the training. And even in our formal training sessions per week, where we're going through a planned out curriculum, we are doing a lot more, let's build this business from scratch along with us, you know, as you're watching us do it. And, you know, we found that that's a better approach. So it's a pretty dramatic change in how we're doing things. And it's really all about just getting as many people as we possibly can to be successful, but also as fast as possible, with this extreme focus on getting people to take action, be accountable, be engaged, and the same with us, you know, that two-way street. So I think it's going to be phenomenal. We started to implement some of these changes a little bit later in the process of last year's training, and the results were dramatic. So all we could talk about was, oh man, imagine if we'd done this from day one, which we're going to do now for 2022. So, you know, we're super excited.
Yeah. I'll take the screen away from you there now again. Okay. And I want to share just something else, but a bit of food for thought really, about success in general, because I really do believe that success leaves clues. And what I'm going to talk about here is what I call the universal recipe for riches. And it's not just about money. It's about success in all areas of your life, but certainly money and wealth of the financial kind is achievable when you use this recipe for riches that I'm about to share with you. And just while I'm saying that, if you want to go ahead and invest in Kibo Eclipse, go ahead and do it now. You don't have to wait until the end of this presentation, this broadcast here today. You should be able to see a button below the broadcast that you can click. Otherwise, you can see written right in the slides that I've got in front of you, the link that you can go to, and you can be on the inside in a matter of seconds. And you would have secured your spot at that point. So again, you've got nothing to lose by jumping in and everything to gain. So I'm talking now about this universal recipe for riches, as I call it. It's not a blueprint or a system. It's actually 100% mindset. And when you get the mindset right, I think you can achieve anything you want in life. And I'm not some self-help guru or anything like that, but I have built multiple multi-million dollar per year businesses from scratch. I am friends with a lot of self-made millionaires, and I have built pretty decent personal business up and investments up over the years as well. And I'm someone who enjoys studying this stuff, and I've broken down the common traits into 13 different areas that I'm going to share with you, and I'll discuss these in more detail and share a few personal stories with you along the way. And I believe that absolutely anyone can be successful and can be wealthy. And if you want, if it's the thing that drives you, can be a millionaire as well. It doesn't matter what your background is. Now, some people do have an easier road, and some people have more luck than others. But regardless of if you've got the worst luck in the world and you had the odds stacked against you from day one, you can still succeed in a massive way. And that's been made a lot easier with the progress of things like the Kibo Code that are blueprints for helping you make money. And my background is that I just come from a middle-class family, working class family, and I didn't have, there was no one even in my community that had the types of luxuries that I see around me today. So I didn't have role models that taught me these things. These were things that I learned by studying from other people, reading a lot of books, and then practicing sort of what I'm preaching here. So most self-made millionaires, or most very successful business people, have the same set of attributes, and they really are the clues to success. It's not rocket science. You just have to analyze and understand what that other person has done to be super, super successful, and then start using those for yourself. And as I go through these, I want you to start thinking about, where are you weak? Is there a weakness? Are you missing one of these characteristics? Are you missing one of these ingredients? Is there something you could work on or build upon to make 2022 better? Okay. Now, the very first ingredient here is what I call the math of money. And I think it's really important to understand this. If you want to make a lot of money, you need to understand how that money can multiply and what are the key sort of levers in making money. So in pretty much any business, you've got four main levers, and these are things that multiply upon one another to ultimately dictate how much money you can make. And the first one is leads, and leads are the number of visitors. So if we apply this to a Kibo Code e-commerce store, then it's not just actually the visitors that come to your store. It could be the visitors that come to all the different places that you could be selling your product. So they're the visitors, right? That's the leads. Now, the next thing is the conversion rate. And this is the percentage of people that come to your website or one of these other marketplaces and purchase. And if you get 10 people, if you get 100 people come to your website and 10 people purchase, then you've got a 10% conversion rate. The next thing to look at is number of dollars per customer. So a customer might spend $100 to buy something, and that's the value of dollars per customer. But then you can multiply that by the average number of transactions. And this is where it gets interesting, because when you do that, you're starting to look at the lifetime value of the customer, not just how much they're spending on one single transaction there. And these four variables are always multiplied to give you your income. So here's an example. Let's say you've got 1,000 leads come in, 1,000 people come in, and let's say that instead of having an e-commerce store, you've got a lemonade stand. You're on the corner, you've got 1,000 people walk past, 5% of those people buy, they spend $1 each to get a little glass of lemonade, and they buy it one time, you would have made $50. And it's irrelevant for this if you make that in 1 day or 1 month. We're just showing you how the four different things sort of build on one another. Now, if you double two of the factors there, you actually quadruple the income. So if you've still got 1,000 people that come past the lemonade stand, but now you're getting a 10% conversion rate, and now you're getting $2 back instead of just $1, then you go from having $50 profit in that time period to having $200 profit in the time period. And if you're able to double all four of the factors, you go from having $50 in the first example to $800 in this one. So we've 16x'd, we've multiplied what we started with 16 times by doubling each of the factors. And this is something that is really important with everything that we're doing with e-commerce and the Kibo Code, is just by the nature of the type of stores we have and the way that we're selling in multiple marketplaces and the technology behind the scenes, out of the gate, instead of having, each thing without any sort of multiplication factors, we're like doubling all of the factors from the get-go. So you can get more leads because you're selling in more marketplaces. And to our Steve, who did an interview with us a few moments ago, to his point, he's able to have hundreds of different products listed. So each product that gets listed doesn't cost him anything. It gives him the potential to get more visitors, okay, to get more leads. So massive leads in lots of different places. Conversion rates, we've got all these bells and whistles that actually help you get the best conversion rate possible. And in addition to that, we've also got the best converting web store that's out there, period, for the type of business that we're running. Dollars per customer, we've got lots of different bells and whistles in the back end for this as well, like upsell funnels, like we've got the exit wheel, we've got abandoned cart email sequences, post-purchase email sequences, and so on and so forth. So we get more dollars per customer, and we're building a database of our customers so we can get more transactions. And because of this, we're able to massively ramp up the amount of money that you eventually get. So the math of money is really, really, really important. And it's something that whatever business model you're doing, you want to have at the forefront of your mind and understand how you make money. Because so often I see people come to me and they say, I've got this passion. I want to start selling, whatever. I want to start selling these Daruma dolls online. And that's all good and well, but are you going to be able to get the traffic? Are you going to be able to get the conversion rates? Is there more to this, or are you just selling one little product? And people just limit themselves. They just limit themselves. And what we're doing with our Kibo Code stores is we're opening up an enormous world of possibilities, because we're not limited to one niche. We're not limited to one marketplace. We're not limited to one geographic area. It's almost limitless. It's almost like a limitless, e-commerce system here. And that's why we can make so much more as a result of this. Now, the second ingredient is to stretch your mind. And stretching your mind, what this does is it establishes a new benchmark. And it's why, millionaires who lose it all tend to bounce back so quickly, because they've got this new reality that they live in, and they're comfortable having big dreams, and they expect nothing less than to actually achieve them. And this is also why the first million is the hardest. Once you've done one thing one time, it's in your comfort zone. And that's why someone who achieves even just $100 per day online knows that they can always make $100 per day online. It's never going to be a challenge. They've got that confidence. And many years ago, in fact, in 2006, I read a book about thinking bigger, and it spoke about having these stretch goals. And back then, I didn't have a single property to my name, and I didn't have any money to my name either. In fact, I had negative because I had student loan debt, and I was just negative. And I bought my first property in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And this in itself, in hindsight, was absolutely crazy, because I didn't even speak the language. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But I jumped in the deep end, and I reaped the rewards because of that. And also, I set this goal of saying, this way back in 2006, saying, I want to own 20 properties outright by the year 2020, and with at least $20,000 per month in passive income. And I actually achieved that goal quite a few years early. I think I got there in like 2015 or 2013 or something. And fast forward to today, I've got a portfolio of quite a few properties in Manhattan. They are properties at the sort of luxury properties in some of the best neighborhoods in Manhattan. I've got properties in Argentina. I've got properties lots of different places in New Zealand, and different types of properties as well. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I've just bought a farm in New Zealand. So none of this would have been possible if I couldn't first imagine it. And something else I do is every month I set aside some time just to think a little bit bigger and think outside the square and think, what would I like to have in my life? What would I like, or how could I make my life better? What could I do to make my life better for my family? And that's a little bit about stretching your mind there. So in the world of e-commerce, what I would urge you to do is to look at it through a longer lens. Instead of looking at your e-commerce business through a, 30-day lens, which it's an incredibly short space of time, look at it through a 3-year lens. And when you do that, it allows you to think so much bigger and remove some of the pressure, because you know that in 3 years, anyone who sticks to an e-commerce business for more than 6 months is going to be probably crushing it. But if you expand it even more to like 3 years, then it's almost impossible that you wouldn't be earning a huge amount of money, if you've got a good game plan and everything. So I think expanding your horizons a little bit and thinking bigger about what you want to achieve, and really going outside your comfort zone. Every time I go outside my comfort zone and do things that push me, I grow, and I reap the rewards of that. So I think that's a big one. If you want something in life that you've never done, you have to be willing to do something that you've never done. Or if you want something in life that you've never had, you need to be willing to do something you've never done. The third ingredient is be growth orientated. So all of the millionaires and super successful people that I know intuitively think in terms of growth. It's like hardwired into us at this point. It's dialed into our subconscious. And I see 3 parts to this. One is getting uncomfortable on a regular basis. So that means pushing yourself outside your comfort zone in different ways. Another is constant learning and self-improvement and that desire to get ahead. And then the other is confidence and optimism and just knowing that, things will work out. You'll try hard, you'll put your best foot forward, and eventually things will work out. Now, the people that don't get the magic happening are the people that just don't really take action and have that negative mindset from the get-go. So this is a big one, being growth orientated. Ingredient number 4 is getting help. So you will be limited at some point if you try to do everything on your own. But when you start tapping into other people's expertise, that's when your business can really explode. And I vividly remember 2007, I was, our business was in its infancy, and I hired my first sort of virtual assistant to start doing some of the heavy lifting for me. And it was amazing because I would go to bed at night and I would wake up in the morning and I had like 6 hours of work done, and my business absolutely exploded. And at that point, I was just kind of getting mundane sort of operational help done. But now it's on a whole new level. Like we've got experts, we've got a team of over 60 people working for us, full time all around the world. And many of these people are experts in things that I know nothing about. So you start off maybe getting operational help, and you can do this for like a couple of bucks an hour. And that's great for when you're building out your Kibo business, and we'll share how you can do this as well inside the training. But then as your business grows, you can start getting more of this expertise. And you can't be an expert at everything. You can't be the best at everything. There are people out there that are super competent and want to work for other people. Also, when you start hiring people, you free up more time and you can get more things done in a day. And this is why the most successful people that I know, and this is why the millionaires that I know, focus on building teams and delegation to the point where they're able to get hundreds or thousands of hours work done in a day. Now, as I mentioned, we've got a workforce of around about 60 people all over the globe. At any minute of the day, Monday to Sunday, someone is doing some work to help us build our business. We get 480 hours of work done every week, regardless of what we're doing. It's just the nature of building an amazing team And this is the kind of thing that you can work towards. And I think, again, systematization, delegation, these are really important things that, that you should make sure that you add into your blueprint for 2022. Success circle is really important, and I think it's underrated. I think it's incredibly important who you hang out with, because it's inevitable that they're going to rub off on you a little bit. So positivity breeds positivity. A good work ethic builds and breeds a good work ethic. So I really think you need to be careful about who you hang out with. If you're hanging out with naysayers all day, people who don't believe in you or what you're doing, then eventually at some point that's going to rub off on you. On the other hand, if you're hanging around people who are forward thinking, progressive, and believe in you, then you're going to do better because of that. So I think this is really important. Also important when you're choosing business partners as well. Ingredient number 6 is to be the millionaire. And the best way to explain this, I think, is with this quote. When you begin to think like a millionaire, you'll then start to behave like a millionaire. And when you behave like a millionaire, you'll begin to do the things that a millionaire does. And guess what? When you start to do these things, then you will start to get those kind of results. It's not rocket science. Dress for the job you want, not the one you have. And if you're not sure about how to approach this, or how to be the millionaire, then ask yourself, what would such and such a person do in this situation? And someone who is already very, very successful, and that might help guide you in your thinking patterns. Be solution orientated. So the most successful people that I know, they know that their solutions are valuable, and think in terms of solutions rather than in terms of problems. So common obstacles faced by the masses can be gold mines, massive opportunities. Find them and solve them for the masses. Ingredient number 8 is just to protect your time. So time is super, super important. You want to protect it as much as you can. And you want to start leveraging tools and things that will help you save time as well. And that's a lot of what our HQ does inside of Kibo Eclipse. Ingredient number 9 is be action orientated. I mean, action is what gets results. Action is always the first step. And for an opportunity like Kibo Eclipse, the only thing that you can do if you're not already on the inside is invest to get in. And you can do that using the link that you can see on the screen there, or the button that you can see below this broadcast. A lack of action always ends up in a lack of results. It's that simple. Some people spend too much time planning and not enough time actually doing. Planning sometimes feels like action, or thinking about something sometimes feels like action. But when the rubber hits the road, you've got to take the real action. And again, the first step, and the only thing you can really do here today, is to jump in and get on the inside with us. Think in terms of abundance. This is a big one. All the millionaires that I know think in terms of abundance and not in terms of scarcity or frugality. There's plenty of money to go around. There's plenty of business to be had. Never be afraid of competition. Frugal thinking is a handbrake. I mean, you can't penny pinch your way to being a very wealthy multimillionaire. It just doesn't work. The way that you get ahead is by building a business that makes you a lot of money. That's the way that you make a lot of money, is by building a business that makes you a lot of money. And normally you don't get ahead by, you don't build millions by, investments. You build millions by building businesses like, the Kibo Code. So I'm someone who's very passionate about investing, but, and my investing gives me, these sort of slow and steady returns. But the thing that makes explosive returns and huge amounts of money is not my investments, it's my business. My e-commerce business as an example there. So I think that's a pretty big clue as well. And then a vision. Having a vision is about knowing what you want and being able to imagine it, thinking about it consciously and subconsciously on an ongoing basis. And then eventually, life starts, these things start appearing as possibilities in your life. Setting off good vibes. Now, this one sounds a bit airy-fairy. I know that, but I know firsthand from personal experience that if I wake up in the morning and I go through my morning routine kind of a thing, and I go out with a positive outlook for the day, regardless of what happens, I'm going to have a good day. Whereas if I go out and maybe something didn't work, maybe I had a bad night's sleep, maybe I got out of the wrong side of bed or something, then it's like I could have a terrible day. It'll be hard for me to, it'll be hard for me to get from one place to another, or something will happen, or this will happen, and that'll happen, and everything goes downhill. But all of that is around the mindset and your outlook. And are you sort of consciously sort of looking out for the positive things that are coming around you, or are you in a negative frame of mind? And then enjoying the journey. Grinding away day after day is not sustainable. You need a business that can be enjoyable if you want to get ahead. And I think it's pretty enjoyable when you've got a business like the Kibo Code that could be making you hundreds of dollars every single day. And the one ingredient that you really can't replicate, so there's no point in even trying, is just gifted lunacy. This is what some people like Elon Musk have. I mean, he's just wired differently. None of us can even aspire to like copy what he does, because he's wired differently. He's like a freak of nature. So don't even bother trying, but you've still got 13 ingredients that you can absolutely replicate. And I think they can help you lead to more success. So we will get into a full recap now. Just before I do, I'll have a sip of water here. We've got a few more things. Just looking at my list here. After I do this recap, we'll talk about breaking the chains. I think you'll find that interesting. And then we'll get into final recap and give some more cash away. We have been going here 3 hours, so it looks like we might be going maybe wrapping up around 4 hours here today. And let's do a full recap now. So the things that I really want to recap are the core components. These are the things that are going to make it possible to get the kind of results that we've been talking about. And it starts off with component number one, which is the training. And the training is going to enable you to see what we're doing and replicate what we're doing, so that you can hopefully replicate our results. And we've left no stone unturned here. We've done absolutely, and putting together absolutely everything that you could possibly need to succeed with this. So videos, live weekly training, strategy manuals, the works. I mean, this is start to finish training designed to help you streamline everything and get results in the fastest way possible. We've got the office hours that we've spoken about a couple of times. This is where you can jump on live sessions with us and get your questions answered. Watch us doing, daily operations right in front of you, and have that live interaction with us on a more regular basis. I mean, we're talking about 4 touch points every single week. So again, huge value there. Access to Kibo HQ. I mean, this is worth the price of admission all on its own easily. This is the glue that keeps everything together. It's your mission control. I think it'll be very, very hard to run the business if you didn't have something like this. And this really is one of a kind. I mean, this is how you're going to be able to manage your products, see inventory, and so much more, all from one centralized place. And Kibo Oracle is actually part of that. This is the solution to finding products. And we've done a lot we've tried different things with solutions for finding products in the past, and this one here is without doubt the absolute best. I mean, it's a complete rethink of how to do this, and we're leveraging the enormous power and accessibility of eBay, and we're able to crunch and suck in all this data that you can then use to your advantage. The converters is amazing. This is AI technology unlike anything you would have seen before. You can use it in lots of different ways, and ultimately the idea here is to boost conversions and in a way that's completely automated. We've got Socializer for identifying these social products that are, or I should say viral products that are selling around different social networks, and then being able to sell them on your own store, and also being able to tap into the traffic opportunities that these provide. The accelerators, done for you scripts, done for you components like fill in the blank emails, landing pages, things that are designed to help you get results faster. And then you've got the training and support. We're going to be, hand holding you, holding your hand every step of the way. And again, you're getting lifetime access, to this when you jump in here today. So, if you've got a question 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we're always going to be there helping you. And we take this very, very seriously. And we really do have the best team in the business. And I'm not just the one saying that. I mean, you heard from one of our students who was with us 30 minutes ago say the exact same thing. It's just, we've got an amazing team there. You're getting access to the live event, the Kibo achievements, and the 30-day challenge. So guys, if you are jumping in, let us know in the little chat bot that you've got on the screen there. You can send us on a message. You are going to get some bonuses that I shared a little bit with you a little bit earlier, and you're getting access to absolutely everything. You've got no risk here at all. I mean, we've set this up in a way whereby you can jump into this with complete peace of mind. I hope you can agree that there's no financial risk. Like, if anyone sees any financial risk that I'm not seeing, please let me know, because all you need to do is buy a domain name. That's it. And you've got 30-day money back guarantee. So if things don't work out, if you just change your mind, then you can, you can get your money back. So that's fine. And you've got your double your money back guarantee that I explained earlier. So Steve, do you want to whip through the breaking the chains here? Just a few more bit of food for thought. And yep, no worries. And Steve's
sorry, one second. I had a problem with my microphone there, and I was coughing.
No worries. I can hear you.
On top of all that. All right, let me see if I can share my screen. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Okay, let's talk through this. So, I like to think about these things all the time, as far as, like sort of lessons learned. And I mean, getting to the point where, I'm trying to take advantage of hopefully some wisdom that I've put together over, many, many years of work. I was trying to figure out the other day, how long has it been since I've actually been in the workforce? I think my first job was like when I was, 13 or something. So, you're talking about more than 40 years of working, and pretty much, nonstop. I mean, even through school and stuff. So I hope after all those years, and then all of my different experience of starting lots of, very different businesses, working with thousands of students, gosh, if I haven't learned some valuable things, then I'm an idiot, I guess. But so I certainly hope that I've got some stuff that I can pass on. And I think it's important to sort of maybe take a look at, well, why do some people achieve, some pretty massive business and life success, and others just kind of are on autopilot, and I think there's obviously there's a lot of things that go through this, but I'd like to point out a few things, and then also share with you some, just some like rules that I live by. And they've helped me, quite a bit. So I'll kind of share those with you. And I use them both in business and in personal. And I think expectations are a big component of all of this. I think one of the best things that my parents ever did for me in my education was making it possible for me to believe that anything's possible. And I think that that's something I see with a lot of entrepreneurs, is that, they always think things, yeah, sure, I can do that. Sure, I can reinvent this industry. Sure, I can do, and admittedly, sometimes that's a weakness, because, you might underestimate the effort. You might be naive, but way more often than not, it's a strength, because it allows you to just think outside the box, and so I think if you expect success, if you think you can do things, then you're gonna absolutely be able to do them. So some ways to think about how to help that, I think certainly actively seeking radical change, embracing it, chasing after it, running after it. I mean, the old Einstein quote. And if you didn't achieve what you wanted to, in 2021, then for crying out loud, do something different. And it might be uncomfortable, but that's okay, because that's really where the success happens. This is a great diagram here, but I think at the end of the day, you've got to say, I'm going to make myself uncomfortable, and I'm going to run towards radical change. Most people, it's like you've got momentum, you're on autopilot, you're doing what's expected of you. And that's how most people live, and then just die. I mean, it really is. So you need to figure out a way to like jump the tracks, and lots of people have, sometimes it's people that are laid off. Sometimes There's, some sort of trauma. Sometimes it's, I attended a workshop and something really resonated with me and I pushed a button and I joined a program. It could be any of those things. And certainly the pushing of the button is the least traumatic of all those things, so push the damn button. That's kind of what I mean by chasing, I think that people really try to avoid failure, and it is absolutely unavoidable when you are trying to do something big. We used to talk in the corporate world. We used to have a saying, what's the one thing in common that every top executive has? They've been fired at some point in their career. And why is that? Because they take responsibility, they take risks, they take action. And sometimes it doesn't work. And sometimes you fail, right? So, it's part of the journey. We have all failed lots and lots of times, but that's okay. Our wins are huge, and you just tend to forget about the failure. Well, actually, you don't even forget about them. You learn from them, and it's just a part of the process. And so if you embrace it as that, and plan for it, then you're going to be way more successful. I think, all of these are great examples of, why you should keep trying and assume that failure is part of the process. I 300 times the founder of Pandora.com approached investors before he got funding. 300 times. So 299 times he got a no. 26 times Tim Ferriss, got a no for a 4-hour work week. Spielberg was rejected 3 times by the University of Southern California. Over 5,000 times, poor James Dyson created failed prototypes. So you get the idea, right? So, I hope you don't have to fail 5,000 times, but it's just part of the process, man. And so, if you're expecting that, the first time you would have tried something that, if it didn't go well, then it sucks and it's not the right thing to do. Well, that's kind of the wrong approach. I think it's really, really important to understand your why. I talk a lot about this. I'm pretty passionate about this, about trying to figure out what your true recipe for happiness is. And it really stems from, what's important to you. Which sounds easy, right? It's like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty straightforward, but it's not, because I think people have a really hard time asking themselves, what is it that really makes me happy? What is it that's really important to me? What are my priorities? People don't spend time to be introspective. Most people really stink at being introspective, and they just would rather be on autopilot because it's way less painful. And I think it's really important that you dig deep and you set aside time to kind of be honest with yourself and be, just really clear about what's driving you and what your why is. And it's like, okay, why do you want to start a business? Well, I want financial freedom. Well, why do you want that? Well, I want to be able to give my kids stuff I never had. Well, why do you want to give your kids things you never had? It's easy to be flippant and just say, I just want some money. I just want my own business or something. But I find that if you have a much deeper understanding of what drives you and what's really important to you, that you tend to take things more seriously and you tend to make things happen a little bit better. My apologies for everybody internationally and all soccer fans everywhere when I describe to you what I've taken to call my soccer strategy. And this is something that I use all the time, and I've used for decades, and I use in my personal life and my professional life. And it's really an analogy with the way I look at soccer. And I did play soccer when I was a kid. But to me, like, American football is very complex. There is a lot of plays and coordination and planning and strategy and just a ton of complexity about what all the positions are doing and who's doing what and what you think the defense is going to do. Whereas soccer seems to me to be more of like an improv kind of game. And what it's really designed to do is, look, let's just get the ball down the field towards the other people's goal. And we'll probably end up doing that out on the wings because it's just easier, right? And then when we get down there towards the goal, what we want to do is we want to put the ball in the middle. And the reason we want to do that is not because we have some grand plan that's very specific that says this center or this striker or this guy is going to head the ball to this guy and then he's going to kick it in. And it's not really what it's all about. What it's all about is we're going to put the ball in the middle because more often than not, that's where the good things happen. When I put the ball in the middle, I don't necessarily know exactly how it's all going to work out, but I know that my chances are now way better to score than if I've kept it out here, on the wings. So what I'm trying to say here is that there are many times in your life when you're faced with making a decision or you're faced with trying to figure out a strategy to take to accomplish something, and you really don't know what to do, but you have a feeling that this is the right path. And I would say that you should accept that feeling and call it the soccer strategy and say, look, I don't really know how this is going to benefit me exactly. Okay. I don't even know if it's going to result in a score, but what I do know is that it feels like I'm putting the ball in the middle. And I know that when I put the ball in the middle, good things happen. So I'll give you two quick examples of that from my real life. The first of which was when I was starting out in my career as a computer programmer, and they needed our vice president of sales, who was a pretty up and coming kind of a guy, and was pretty famous within the company. Like, he's going to be the next superstar, whatever. Anyway, he comes down to the computer department and says, "Look, I need somebody to go out with me to a client." And, I was like one of the only nerds who could actually speak to people, first of all, which is good. But nobody else wanted to do it. They were like, screw that. I don't want to go talk to a client, but I'm not getting paid extra to do it. And I said, absolutely, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and I'm going to hang out with this guy and I'm going to get to know him. And, because I didn't know how that was going to benefit me in the future, right? I had no idea, but I knew he was kind of an up and coming guy. And I felt like it was putting the ball in the middle. Good things were going to happen. So I went with this guy. His name is Kevin. Went with this guy to the client. I learned a lot just by being out at a client's office and understanding because we had a computer system that sat in client's office for this company. So I learned a lot, was able to help. And I developed not a friendship or, not any kind of long-term relationship, but certainly an acquaintance. And, if you asked Kevin, hey, who do you know from the computer department? I was the only guy, right, that he knew. So that went on for years. So fast forward now, I don't remember exactly how many years, but probably 7 or 8 years later. And this guy, Kevin, becomes the chief executive officer for a very exciting company, $200 million publicly traded company. And guess who became his chief information officer? That'd be me. So it took a long time, 8 years later, before there was a score from me putting in the ball in the middle, but it was effective and it was the right thing to do. So one other one, which is a little bit more recent and having to do with online businesses, Aiden and I agonized over opening an office in China. It's a huge endeavor. It's very complex. It's fraught with risk. It's a huge pain in the ass. It sucks. And we were like, well, we kind of feel like it would be beneficial maybe for that, maybe for this. I don't know. I'm not really sure if it's going to, but we sat around and we're like, you know what? We are putting the ball in the middle to have an office there. We manufacture tons of goods there. All the big players have representatives there. It'd be great to have people who speak the language, blah, blah. Anyway, we put the ball in the middle, and wouldn't you know, it is, we've had it ever since. And that was, I don't even remember, 8 years ago, something like that. And it's paid off in spades with doing quality control in country, with negotiating with suppliers. And then we actually were also able to leverage it with our private mastermind group and allow some of our private mastermind folks to use that office as well for lots of things. So it really, really worked out for putting the ball in the middle. Clear vision and focus, really understanding what finished looks like. Whenever I'm managing a group of people, I talk about that all the time. It's great to sit around and talk about interesting things, but what are we trying to get to? What does finished look like? And it's even more important to write it down. Okay. So you need clarity. You need to know where you're headed. You need to know what finished looks like. Write it down. And then once you got it down, stay focused. This is one of the reasons why it's important to know what finished looks like, because you'll get distracted and then you can kind of herd the cats all back together by saying, hey, what does finished look like? Okay. You know, I mean, building an inner circle is key. And there's lots of different ways you can do that. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. You know, surrounding yourself with people who believe in you and what you're working to achieve, but also who bring, you know, strengths maybe where you're weak and can help problem solve and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, that's what we try and provide with when we do our courses. We've got an online community that we build around those courses, and people, it's amazing to see. And there's great power in groups working together to solve problems and bring interesting, you know, tidbits of advice and things to the table. So it's really, really important. This is key. And this is almost 10% of 2021 is gone, or sorry, of 2022 is gone, which is amazing, right? I mean, it's like, holy crap, how did that happen? But, you know, got to stop the procrastination. You've got to adopt a there's no tomorrow attitude. And, you know, I think maybe the pandemic has helped this, where people go, yeah, shit can happen. You know, I mean, I better push this button right now and take advantage of this opportunity, because who the hell knows what's going to happen tomorrow? You know, well, I'll tell you what we do know is you're never going to see it again. This is something that I think is really important for everybody to understand. You know, and this is just kind of a funny play on words, but it's true. The older I get, the less I'm good at, not because I'm getting like, you know, weaker and more fragile, which I certainly am, but because you kind of learn what your real strengths and weaknesses are, and you're less sort of blinded by what you think you should be, you know. Like, for example, I always used to think that I would be great at being like the CEO of a $5 billion company, and I could take on the world like that. And, you know, I would suck at that. I just really would. I'm not a politician. I'm much better off working with smaller, nimble companies and being a serial entrepreneur. And then when they get bigger, kind of getting out of the way. But I didn't see that when I was younger. And I think, and it's also hard when you have a vision of yourself when you're younger, it's hard to let go of that because it's so much of a part of your identity. So what I would encourage you to do is, you know, thinking about this, the older I get, the less I'm good at. What it really means is be very aware and vigilant of what your strengths and weaknesses are, what they really are, and be honest with yourself and ask other people what they are, so that you can get an unfiltered look, because we all have strengths and weaknesses, but they're not always what we think they are. And it's really important that we know what they are. Another life lesson that's really, really important to me that I use all the time: dance with the one that brought you. And this is an old Southern saying, which means if you bring a girl to the dance, don't go dancing with everybody else, dance with her. And, or granted, an old fashioned sexist statement, I'm sure. But anyway, the concept is sound. And I'll give you one example from my real life. We were faced with, when the kids got older and we were looking to downsize, we were faced with selling our dream home that had been kind of, you know, where we mostly raised the children. And it was, you know, a huge house on a lake with an elevator and a home theater. And I mean, it was a big deal for us. It was our dream castle, you know, and it was also a big part of our assets. So it was really, really important to us. And that we get the most money for it. And we had, you know, like a good experience selling it. So there was a woman who was a specialized real estate agent just in that area in our community. And everybody was like, oh, you got to use her. She's the best. You got to use her. You got to use her. We didn't know her at all. Right. And then we had our friend who was just starting out as a real estate agent. And we were like going back and forth. We're like, oh, you know, I don't know. I mean, she's new. We love her. We have a lot of respect for her. We're obviously friends with her, but you know, she's newish. And then there's this woman who basically is the expert in this neighborhood and all. And we agonized over it. And finally, I just said, you know what? I'm going back to my rule, because that's what helps me make decisions in my life. And it served me well. Doesn't mean it's always right, but it served me well. I'm going to dance with the one that brought me, and I'm going to go with our friend. And it turned out she became like, first of all, she was amazing. And she became like the best real estate agent in all of Chapel Hill about a year or two later, which is a huge community in North Carolina and a big deal. So we made the right call, and we did it because of that rule. And I think probably the biggest thing is simplicity. I think it's fine to have big dreams. I encourage that. There is no dream that's too big, frankly. I mean, maybe now, like, I'm probably not going to be like, a fireman or an FBI agent, but, I used to say I'm not going to be an astronaut, but you know what? Don't count me out on that now, because things have changed. I might be able to be an astronaut with Bezos or the other knucklehead, Elon Musk or whatever. But, keeping it simple to accomplish the dream is really, really important. So I don't mean keep the dream simple. I don't mean keep the dream small. I just mean be aware of the things that, in this case, building your own business is the dream. What kills startups? And, it's these are the things, it's capital and having to have a certain skill set and set of experience, maybe things like Facebook, technical requirements, legal and administrative stuff, slow results. If you can get rid of all that stuff, right, and keep it as simple as possible, then you have just dramatically increased your chances for success here. And that's, to me, that's what the Kibo code gets you, because if you can get rid of all that stuff, like all these things that are on here, you've just taken the big dream, and you haven't compromised at all there, right? Taken the big dream and you've said, my path to accomplishing that, I'm going to make it as simple as possible. And that's kind of the biggest secret, I think. Well, I think you're on mute there, Aiden. Yeah.
Helps. It would help if I'm unmuted. Thanks for that. Look, we have actually had quite a few questions and comments been coming in from people who have been using the chat functionality that we've got just below this broadcast. So thank you for that. Lots of good feedback coming in there as well, Steve. So look, guys, I'm going to wrap this up now. We are going to recap on a few things. I'm going to share a few bonuses, a few final thoughts, and we'll wrap this up. And look, I hope that over the past 3 hours and 20 minutes that we've been going, you're starting to get a feel about whether or not what we're talking about here today is something that's right for you or not. And also, not just that, but also if, Steve and I are the kind of people that you want to be working with and associated with as you start building your business, we'd certainly love to have the opportunity to be able to help you. So a few little bonuses that, well, not little, but a few bonuses that we've got here. The first is social selling secrets. And this is about how to leverage more social selling channels, essentially. And one of the people that you heard from earlier, Steve, is crushing it with Pinterest. And that's one of the opportunities that we're going to be diving into in this special bonus. So this is on top of everything else that you're getting here today. You're getting this special bonus. You're getting Kibo event recordings. So the 2 days of training that we're going to be doing for you, you'll be able to get access to that as event recordings. And the Secret Mastermind, this is 3 months, of additional training where we're going to be sharing, tactics and strategies to help you make much more money on an ongoing basis. And Kibo Profit Spy as well, which is another piece of software that we've built to help you analyze and see how well products are performing on different marketplaces. We've also got these action taker bonuses. We've hit 50 people already here on this one, but for this live broadcast, if you get in before the end of the live broadcast, in the next 10 minutes or so, I'll make sure that you get access to these as well. And please, if you are getting in though, let us know through that chat box, because this is something that we're going to have to manually upgrade you to get. So we can do that when you let us know through the chat box. Steve, a couple more quick cash giveaways here. And I've already seen the winners were selected for these, and it was Thomas and Anna.
Yep, that's great.
Thomas and Anna, congratulations. You've each won $250 in cash. We'll let you know how you can claim that through chat now. Now, we mentioned the two major announcements a couple of times already, but lifetime access, you're getting updates to this, in the future without having to pay anything else, which we've never done before. And the second one is that this is the final Kibo code. We're not going to be giving this training or making this training available to anyone in the future. This is the last go round, and a chance to get in on this and sort of piggyback on what we're doing, use all the technology and training to build a real e-commerce business. So we're doing this because we want to double down on our own business essentially, and build that up. And by getting in, you'll be able to watch what we do and get the updates without paying a dime. Now, this is really all about lifestyle freedom. That's really what it comes down to, about being able to do what you want to do in life, the things that make you happy in life, whatever that is. And when you get financial freedom, time freedom, geographic freedom, you can achieve anything. I mean, the world is your oyster, the sky's the limit. And if you do want to get different results, then don't just keep doing the same thing, try something new. And Kibo Eclipse is completely brand new. We've had some amazing success stories over the past couple of years. And none of these people had access to any of the advancements or breakthroughs that we've been spending a lot of time talking about over the past few hours. So can you succeed? Absolutely, you can succeed, but you need to be on the inside. You can join these people who have come before you. We could be talking here for 24 hours straight, and we still wouldn't be able to cover every little detail of what we've got for you here. But the good news for you is you can find everything out for yourself when you get on the inside, and you can do that without any risk at all, because we've got our 30-day money back guarantee. So you can jump on the inside, take a look around, go through some of the training if you want to, and then if you decide it's not right for you, that's fine. We'll give you your money back. I understand that it's a big investment. Quite honestly, though, I think you're getting a complete steal. We've tried to make it a no-brainer. We were going to sell this for $9,997. We think that it's absolutely worth every penny of that. And we know that some people are going to make huge amounts of money from this and change their lives. However, you're able to get in today for just a fraction of that. I mean, if you take the split pay, you could be in for $997. The real question is, are you willing to do what it takes to get in? And I think it's important to see this in perspective, because when you look at it through the lens of this is something that could change your life forever, that changes everything. Because are you willing to spend $997 for payments of, or one payment of $3,497 to change your life forever? And not just your life, but the flow-on effect that would have? I think most people would. And that's really what we're talking about here. And it's not just the education, it's the technology and that you're getting access to as well. In terms of time, you don't really need that much time to run this business. We always say aim for 5 hours a week as a minimum. You could conceivably do less than that. It'll just take you a little bit longer. And if you want to double down on it and do a lot more work, then you'll be able to get results even faster. The real question is, are you willing to prioritize? We've all got time. Get up an extra 20 minutes earlier if you need to do that, go to bed 20 minutes later. You've definitely got time. So it's just a case of, prioritizing. And if it is tough to get in, then it's time to start being resourceful about this. Maybe there's someone else, if funds are tight, is there another way that you can get the funds? PayPal has something called PayPal Credit, which is available for people in the United States and I think in the UK as well, where you can get access to free money essentially for 6 months with zero interest. And check out those terms and stuff yourself. Another way, just thinking outside the square, credit cards. I mean, if you buy something on a credit card, you've got a minimum payment due 30 days later, and oftentimes it's like a fraction of the actual price. So you might buy something that's a few $1,000s and the minimum payment might be $30 or something. Business partners, personal loans from friends, whatever it takes. If you want it badly enough, I'm convinced that you'll find a way to get in. Just don't fall into this when-then trap. So many times I get people coming to me and they have clearly fallen into this trap, which is basically where they say, look, when I've got more time, I'm going to do that thing I've always wanted to do. When I'm feeling more energetic, I'm going to start that new diet. When I've got more money, I'm going to start that business. But that's not the way life works. Life gives you back things when you first take action. So if you want to feel better and more energetic, then don't wait for that to happen. You got to go out there and do something to make it happen. If you want to make more money, you got to go out there and do something to make that happen. And it's the action that gets those, magical results. And that's why we are so focused around action, getting you in And then once you're on the inside, helping you take action so you can see this firsthand. And I think, something that is worth keeping in mind is the thing that people worry about with money is what they get in exchange for what they pay. So for example, if I said to you, look, for $1,000, I'm going to give you this mansion by the lake in Italy. And it's absolutely amazing. I mean, that would be the deal of a century. And you'd be like, sure, yeah, I'll do that, because you think you're getting a good deal. If I was to say to you, I'm going to sell you this pen and you're going to pay me $1,000 for it, you'd be like, what the heck? A pen for $1,000? That's a bad deal. Now, what I'm talking about here today is giving you education and technology and breakthroughs in the world of e-commerce that you can get for one payment of $3,497 or 4 payments of $997. And this education and these tools are designed to put more money back in your pocket. They're designed to help you get ahead. So if you think about this from sort of a logical and rational standpoint, you're paying money. There's no risk in paying that money because you've got a 30-day money back guarantee and a double your money back guarantee. And that money is being spent to make you more money, give you more time, and give you geographic freedom. It's like, it is the deal of the century, and a complete no-brainer, and just what I was screaming out for all those years ago when I was getting started. You could figure out e-commerce on your own. You couldn't have such a streamlined approach without the technology and tools that we use. That's just so important. I don't know why you'd want to do it on your own anyway, though. I mean, it's a slow approach, and not just slow in terms of speed, but slow in terms of getting money. Like, it's a really slow way to grow. Time is always ticking. You want to have the fastest results, the biggest results in the shortest time possible. And that's what we have designed Kibo Eclipse around, to get you there. So the easy road is doing this the way that we're sharing with and following our recipe. Now, we could have rehashed things. We could have used recycled training that we've put together in the past. We could have recycled old tools that we've developed. But when thinking about Kibo Eclipse, we started with a complete clean slate. And we said, look, 2022, so much is changing. What are people going to need to stack all the chance of success in their favor in 2022? Start with a clean slate, ask ourselves that question, and then we went ahead and put everything together. So we built Oracle, we built the headquarters and all the new functionality that entails. We're doing completely new training from the ground up. And quite frankly, this is just fundamental because everything has changed. We're upping the number of office hours that we're doing to levels we've never done before. We've got an amazing support team, the converters, the accelerators, and so much more. And only then did we say, okay, we've got this amazing package. What could we sell it for? What would be the fair price? And we came up with $9,997. And then we scaled back from there because we wanted to make it more affordable, not because we didn't think it was worth $9,997. So I really believe that this is an amazing deal, and hopefully you can see that. And hopefully, if you do see that, then you're finding a way to get in. And of course, the alternative is just to do nothing. But if you do nothing, then that's it. You're not going to have any opportunity to get ahead with anything new. The magic happens when you do something that's completely new. This is not about talent or ability. It's about following a process. So, regardless of how you feel about past experiences that you may have had in building a business, you get to start with a clean slate and start completely afresh by hitting the reset button and following our brand new process, which has already helped so many people succeed amazing things. Don't let anything stop you. You need to prioritize a little bit. You do need to invest some money, but you're investing in something that can make you a lot more money. I've mentioned it's a process. We're going to guide you through the confusion. We've streamlined everything. And if you're still on this live broadcast now, and I can see a lot of you are 3.5 hours in, you're here because you want something, and hopefully if you like what you've heard, then hopefully you're just going to jump in and do this. I feel like if you've got a desire and if you're willing to put in the time, then you deserve to have success with this, and don't stop until that success happens. If you don't do this, if you stay on the outside, then we know what's going to happen, and nothing. You're not going to be able to come on this journey. What's the worst that could happen here? There really is no logical downside that I can think of. I just can't think of one. I can't think of anything bad that could possibly happen to you by jumping into this. Your money's not at risk. You're not going to have to invest much time to see if it's working for you or not. So go ahead and jump in. Don't let your fears or your past experiences or anything that's happened in the past stop you from doing this. I saw a couple of questions come in earlier from people saying, I don't know if I should do this. I've been burnt in the past. Or another one was, I failed in the past. And it's like, that's fine, but today is a brand new day. Today is a brand new opportunity to start again. And you got to be like this Daruma doll that I was talking about previously. And when it falls down, you got to get back up. You just got to keep pushing forward, because the only time that you failed for good is when you just don't do it anymore. They're the people that don't see the magic. The people that see the magic are the people that keep pushing forward and working a system that's proven. And this is exactly what this is. You can get complete access right now, but you need to take action. You've got zero risk. You've got absolutely everything to gain here, but you must take action. So I think that's it for us here. I don't know if we have any other questions we need to take. Guys, we would love for you to jump in and be able to help you, but you need to take that first step, and you will be able to learn a lot more once you're on the inside, and we are completely committed to helping you. So Steve, I don't know if we've got to do any more Q&A. I don't know. I think we've given away the cash.
I think we're in good shape. We've exhausted our questions, I think, at this point. So I think we're in good shape.
All right, guys. Well, losing my voice here a little bit. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out with us here today. For, almost 4 hours in the end. So
it's crazy.
Hope you got some good value out of this. Learned a little bit more about Steve and I, what make us tick, and why we're so passionate about helping people succeed with their online business, and look forward to helping so many more of you succeed as well. If you haven't jumped in yet, but if you want to do it, go ahead. Please do it today, because we are not going to be open for much longer, that's for sure. And we've already got some training that you can hit the ground with once you're on the inside as well. Yes. So I think that's a wrap. Thank you once again, and we'll see many of you on the inside.
Take it easy.